be a little bit more tactical. But I mean, you have to stop people like Immortals from hitting these ridiculous shots when they enter the server. And it seems like no one can lately. So this is such a stylistic clash between these two teams, and it's going to be so interesting to see which one comes out on top.
Yeah, I'm liking the maps a lot that we have in this series too. I'm hoping that we might see a breach, come into play possibly. I know that has been some experimentation on the Immortal side of things with Shot Up, but I feel like every time I think about that with this team, it's always the comfort pick. Like, you see the Duelist come out instead or something like that. So we'll see. I mean, this is one of those situations too where, like you said, everybody knows, I think, at this point, the 100 Thieves are very innovative. Steel obviously does a really great job leading that innovation. And they're going to be the stronger team tactically, one would imagine. Definitely a team with loads of clutch as well, something that we always are talking about. We're always seeing that from them. But do you feel like coming into this matchup, if you're Immortals, are you thinking of like focusing on this super loose playstyle? And do you want to run a more kind of duelist-based playstyle? Or how do you interpret them figuring out what are the strengths that will work as win conditions for this matchup?
Yeah, that was an interesting thing too. When I listened to JC Sunny talk about how he thinks the team composition should be, they play to their strengths. So I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to play that loose style right now against 100 Thieves, right? They know if they try to match 100 Thieves slow, methodical, tactical style, they're just going to lose that game, right? They don't want to play that game. They want the game to be a little sloppy. They want Shot Up to be pushing through smokes and dismissing out. Now we might see him play Breach at some point in this tournament. And we might actually see Nitro playing Breach and Sage as well. There's so many crazy things happening in this series that there's a lot of variables. It's so hard to predict because these teams are so close.
Yeah, I do love the aspect of this game that's obviously we heard Steel talking about this a while ago, that in terms of composition, they kind of want to change the game a little bit. They want to have less duelists. They want to make it even more tactical if they can. And so I would love to see some crazy stuff coming out. I would imagine maybe that would be saved maybe until a little bit later on. You wouldn't want to necessarily show anything experimental at this point. But of course, it generally speaking, in terms of that, I feel like I always see something new tactically when I'm watching 100 Thieves. Like last time I was watching them, I was just super impressed. We were talking about this earlier by their icebox. I love kind of the way that Steel plays Killjoy, the way that he uses, the way he lurks with Killjoy on attack and uses the utility, the way he plays retake setups, all super like innovative stuff that I've only seen from Steel. So, what is it going to be this time? That's always the question for me.
Going into 100 Thieves, what do you think about Ethan? I mean, Ethan's coming in from CS. You and I have a lot of experience viewing Ethan in CS. He was a phenomenal player, a top 20 player in the world, I think, last year, right? And he's coming into this game, and I actually wrote down his statistics. They're right here. So he has 202 ACS and 137 damage around. He just switched over to this game. So he was a professional in CSGO up until, what, like a week and a half ago? He had to devote some amount of time to playing CS. I don't know how much time he's playing Valorant behind the scenes, but I mean, those are pretty insane numbers to be putting up this early into the game if you're Ethan. How do you feel about him?
Yeah, it's been really cool, firstly, just to see like what their approach was as a team as to what positions he's going to be put in. And it seems like to begin with, he's mostly playing roles with Omen where it's just very basic, throw some smokes. And then it's about his fundamentals, his understanding of the fundamentals, the mechanics of the game, playing angles well, knowing the kind of player psychology when you're trying to like jiggle, peek and clear, like doing effective and efficient clears. Obviously really lethal aim, also a player that kind of really understands how to read the game and his teammates really well, even though he's pretty, as you say, like pretty new to things. I feel like he's working with the basics super well. And obviously as he gets more competent, as he gets a better understanding of the game, it's just going to build out from there. But it feels like the way that he's fit into the team has been planned out really well so far. And every day it seems like they're getting better, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, right now, things look really good for 100 Thieves in the future, right? Who knows where things pan out when Astra comes into play, because he's playing Omen, right? So if Astra is the future of this game, what happens to Ethan as a player when he's an Omen main right now? Like, he'll have to then learn someone new, but he doesn't even have that much time on Omen, so it's not even going to be a big deal. This team is in a good spot.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's gonna be really fun to see how they develop. And I also wonder actually with, obviously, we're waiting to get into the agent select for the first map. And then I think we'll dive into more, map specific discussions. But until then, I'm really curious about exactly if there'll be anyone else following Ethan. Because as you say, like really high profile pickup. It's actually kind of funny that we've had some of the most high profile CS transfers on this one team, Steel I guess Hiko less so because he was more inactive at that point, but Nitro obviously maybe the biggest one up until Ethan. So that's kind of nuts. Do you think more CS players are going to transfer over?
I think so. I think it's going to be a slow bleed. Like CS players are going to see the tactical feel of this game and the ability to make explosive plays, like when we watch Baby Bay or Asuna, or Ethan when he pops off and gets like a 3K, right? There is that experience of having an explosive play in this game that seems like to CS players it can only exist in CS, right? That feeling of getting the 1AK, the 1D, blah blah blah. But it exists in this game, and it'll slowly pluck some of those top players because it's super fun. And I mean, it's gonna happen. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's just a lot of opportunities. It's a pretty easy pickup if you're looking at someone like Ethan again. Has all of the base skill sets, and there is one thing in CS that I think a lot of the players at the very, very top level definitely have, which is a lot of LAN experience, and that's a huge plus. And on top of that, I think the other thing is that I think the way that the professional level in CS has become over the last 2-3 years, everything has become, I think, a lot more advanced in terms of like learning how to like deal with performance coaches and sports psychologists, and learning how to interact with your coach, and having a healthier relationships like interpersonally within the team, and just understanding how to be in a structure, like understanding training regimens. Like the levels of professionalism increase quite a lot. I think that's really valuable too, because as this game goes deeper and deeper into its lifespan, that stuff will be important. Like understanding how to exist in those systems and not being kind of thrown off your comfort zone by them is going to be, I think, pretty key. So again, that's another like reason why Ethan pickup is great, because this guy has that experience of being in those places. So yeah, he's definitely a hard worker. He's pretty phenomenal. I mean, you watch his mechanical play right now, and it's insane. It's pretty insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of mechanical play, the Immortals guys, honestly, I have to give the edge to them in this matchup mechanically. I mean, Chemicals, Shot Up, those two players, I mean, even Nature, their in-game leader, will always pop off. JC Stani, who used to be their in-game leader, is now putting up star numbers now that he's not in-game leading. There's so much aim potential on that team. Do you think it's possible that they beat 100 Thieves in this matchup in the mid game? Because I mean, I have an opinion on this. So what are the win conditions right now for Immortals in your eyes?
Yeah, that's a really great question, actually. I like how you dropped the mid game in there, because obviously they're playing the mid to late game. That is definitely where 100 Thieves I think do really well, because they're so good at reading the rotations based off of like the positioning that they have and then the information that they do or do not have. They're really a good team at playing without that info. And so I feel like Immortals' win condition is going to have to be off of the explosive takes where they're forcing fights and forcing position. I don't think they're going to survive some of the more kind of standard mid-round situations. Obviously, we're kind of using a general kind of context right now, but I think that's definitely a huge edge, and that you would have to see a more contact, kind of loose-oriented play style that actually ends in them forcing fights. I don't think that they can do that kind of denial of area play as well as 100 Thieves.
Let me put you on the spot then. So we've seen games that go the opposite way of opening duels. It's more rare in CS than it is this game. But is there a world where Immortals loses the opening duel tally in this series and wins the series anyway? Because
so
that
funny,
means they would have to be winning the late round.
Yeah.
Is there a world that's possible?
I mean, it is definitely possible, because I mean, the funny thing is that you're describing TSM versus 100 Thieves at the first Strike Finals, and like that like blew everybody's minds, because you look at it and like that was such a weird series, because TSM looked behind even in I felt like my emotional memory, I feel like they looked behind all the time in the entire series, when in reality they were ahead all the time until the clutches at the end of the round. So I don't know, that it seems like this is going to be a great matchup if it goes that way. Immortals can definitely win those scenarios, but there is some kind of X factor that exists with the clutch on 100 Thieves. They definitely can win those battles. So I don't know, man. 100 Thieves are one of the most clutch teams at the moment, so it's hard to say, for me at least.
It's so ridiculous. It's ridiculous watching them play. That Hiko game on Icebox last week. Yeah. With the ult outside of A, and then, the ghost clutch inside of it. How do they just keep getting away with this? It's like that meme, the Breaking Bad meme. How do they keep getting away with this? I don't get it.
It's actually really funny because another clutch splashed to my mind in a second, which was with Steel as well. So this is like an old iBuyPower, the old iBuyPower days. It was like from Milan Games Week, I think it was. I'm going like rolling back the years to like 2015 right now. And
so hard.
I forget what team they were playing right now, but it's like Inferno, and it was like Steel and Days remaining in a round, and they win this like insane 2 versus 5. And it kind of reminded me of that one of those things you were mentioning just now, that clutch, I think on the pistol round, where on Icebox, on attack, you had Steel and Hiko last man standing against 5 players. They looked absolutely crushed. Then all of a sudden, Steel gets this ridiculous Sheriff headshot that's like this weird fadeaway reaction flick, and that turns into them winning the round. It's just stuff like that. There is like some magic there, and it's amazing to see that from players that I think in most cases in esports, like these guys have been through their heyday right now. These guys are just doing the laps, but it seems like they're restarting their careers. And how long is that story going to continue for? That's another amazing element of this team.
I don't know. I remember exactly the 2v5 you're talking about, but my NA brain, you know, the only thing I remember, you remember the kills? I remember Steel getting up out of his chair and doing the Bernie dance. Yeah. That's the only thing I remember from the entire 2v5. It was epic, though. It was epic. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think I was casting that with Jordan actually at the time with nothing. Man, we're like we're like old men right now, just like talking about days of CS past in the Valorant stream. But yeah, it's really cool to like see the history that's building in front of our eyes, and this Immortal teams too, as you say, Sean, it like feels like it's like the salt of the earth team in that regard. Like they're like trying to farm that first generation Valorant talent in the best way that they can, and seeing the kind of the brains that have been programmed by Valorant as opposed to being programmed by other things first is also super interesting, because we were talking about this off stream. There's certain ways that this game is being played. You might expect it to be played in certain ways, but only certain things will work in scrims, and so you have to play what's actually working. And so and I feel like the younger players are really taking advantage of that right now. I think Immortals are a team like that, finding so much success with a loose play style, which I think, we saw from FaZe yesterday, just kind of really showing the epitome of that kind of explosive play style and just running at people, and how that can be really effective right now. And I think to a CS player, Sean, that's pretty abhorrent.
Yeah. It hurts a little bit when I see Baby like dash updraft up in the air with a frenzy and just come down on someone's head spraying the frenzy. Hurts a little bit. But I do respect the style, because they are catching so many teams off guard. And the same thing could be said for Immortals when you watch someone like, Shot Up perfectly using the Reign of Dismiss to make crazy plays.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to throw to a quick break, and hopefully we'll be back with the game shortly after. We'll see you back here soon. All right, welcome back, everybody, to Masters 1. We're about to get into 100 Thieves versus Immortals. I'm DDK here with Sean, and I think there was some server shenanigans, but we should be underway momentarily. We have Ascent, Haven, and Binds coming up. Is that the right order? I think it's the right order. And it's gonna be lit.
Lit. Oh, sheesh, Dan. Okay, we're getting the zoomies involved here. Okay, we're throwing it back, and now we're kicking into zoomie mode. I like it.
We have to balance it somehow, man.
Yeah.
I could like try to artificially make ourselves relevant. I think it's really funny though, because it's actually kind of crazy now, because I do like come across all these words and like, I don't know what this means. I just and it's not just I don't know what this means, and it's like I feel a pressure to figure it out, like so I can be cool. I'm actually at the point where I don't care to be cool anymore. So I don't know what that means, but that's where I'm at.
That's amazing. I was watching you cast the game recently while I was co-streaming it. I pointed out that you had some lingo that I liked. I liked it a lot. So.
I don't even want to know what it was, but
yeah, I don't even remember. But I think we know what side the teams are starting, right? So 100 Thieves picked Ascent. That means Immortals is likely going to pick defense, I would imagine. So with that being known, I guess it really depends on which approach Immortals brings into this game. I mean, which approach would you rather them run? Shot up on the Reyna or shot up on the Breach? Because they've done both recently on this map.
I think the comfort pick is going to be good. I think Reyna's probably what I would think makes most sense. Like, I always think that if you haven't, because from what I understand, they've been experimenting with it, but they still are like finding their feet with it, and they're not inherently, I think, a team that has a lot of practice with Breach. I think Breach is one of those agents where you really have to be used to playing off of him as well. So it's not just in having someone learn the setups for Breach. It's about the whole team understanding like what that actually means for them too. So I think that is a pretty big ask, given how Immortals have had their success. So it's like really cool to see that they are mixing things up and are experimenting. But I think I would go for the safe Reyna pick, and I think that's good too, because I think that's going to allow them more confidence in actually taking more control like early in some of these rounds, which I think like they cannot allow 100 Thieves to really run their defaults uninterrupted. I think that's a really big focus for me, especially on Ascent. So I'm hoping that a Reyna pick would help to solve that. Like, are you on the same page with that?
I think so. When the Reyna nerf first came in, I was like, oh, the shot up is going to have some troubles, and that's when we started to see Breach. But now we've seen, maybe an overreaction, right? I don't think it's really necessary for Reyna to have four capabilities of dismissing or healing in one round. I mean, that's so rare that would happen in a pro match. I mean, this isn't a pub, right? So you would expect Reyna to probably encounter 2 people in a given round, and that's perfect given her abilities right now. So I think it actually buffed her, because now all she has to do is damage people to get those orbs. And that's probably why we saw someone like TenZ just absolutely dismantle just now as a stand-in for Sentinels. Like, it's insane. I think Reyna's in a good spot.
I think that's a really good point too, and it might be something that we can kind of clear up a little bit. I think because I think a lot of people would have heard that in pro play it's a buff, and in casual matchmaking level play it's going to be a nerf. And one of the reasons why I think, as an example, is that in matchmaking you're going to get a lot of 1v1s, where the 1v1s you're going to get as well might not necessarily translate into map control, but when you're getting a kill at the pro level, it translates into a lot more. And so any one usage of utility, especially off of the kill, and with an agent like Reyna that can create so much space, that it translates into a much bigger advantage. Whereas matchmaking, it's just one player, you can dominate by yourself, and you don't expect your teammates to trade you in matchmaking. I don't know if there is anyone that is expecting the teammates to trade them in matchmaking. They're less jaded than I am at this point. They're probably new to matchmaking. I don't know what it is, but yeah, that's, I think, a good explanation as to that with Reyna.
Guys, Dan is on day 2 of a fast. He's a little bit edgy right now. Bear with him, okay? He'll get better as the week goes on.
we can. I mean, we'll see about that. But it's a funny one, like matchmaking gripes. Everyone has their own like matchmaking gripes. Do you have one at the moment that's like? I mean, God, dude, you're gonna make me do this right now. It's actually funny now. I remember we used to do like a segment on Immortal Minds ages ago with like matchmaking gripes. So we'll return to that.
I want 5 stacks back at the top. right? I'm sick of the duos. After playing in Twitch Rivals with a 5-stack, it's just so much fun. It's so much fun to play the game with 4 other people and just being able to communicate setups and tactics and not having to worry about someone not having a mic or, you know, locking in the wrong agent or doing crazy stuff. Like, I just want people to do things for the team. Not even what I want them to do, just, you know, have a common goal, somewhat common goal. And it just feels like sometimes that doesn't exist in the solo duo queue realm.
Yeah. Do you want like maybe like a dedicated like 5 queue or something? Like imagine like in the older days when you could like play on like a tournament website which allows you to like have like a team of like 20 people, like a mixed teams, and you could like have like a mixed team where like any one of 20 people could play in it, and then that's your ranks by that mixed team. What about that?
Maybe so, maybe so. I mean, I just need an excuse, Dan. All right, I need an excuse. My aim cannot stay at the top tier. All right, I need other people to carry me there. My brain just needs to tell people what to do, and they get all the kills. That's what I need.
Nice.
Yeah. So I need more people with aim with me. That's it.
Okay. In terms of the duo queue, all right. So you're telling people what to do. You're setting people up. What's the most like fun like combo of agents, and what's like the most fun way to use them that you found so far? Like, is it like breach setting up someone else, or like with a jet or something? Like, you know, what if you've been running anything like that, or you just like try to make it work with whatever?
Man, you're really just making me lose everyone right now. I'm gonna have to say that I play Yoru on stream right now. Everyone's gonna laugh at me. There's gonna be so many Keck W's in chat and stuff making fun of me. Yeah. Yes, I'm a Yoru man. I'm proud of it. All right, we're a small minority of people here in the community, us Yoru mains, but we're important.
Is it because becoming an Omen main became cool, and now you just gotta be like edge loading with Yoru? Is that what's going on? Maybe
so. Maybe like I'm just that edgy little player that has to play the one that no one likes. You know?
How is that going, by the way? Like, because I have to say, like, I've not put really any time in Yoru, and it's like very difficult to play that guy. So it's not going well. Okay.
There's been a lot of mishaps lately on stream. Yeah, it's not going well. A lot of losses, a lot of red.
All right. Okay. We're going to a second break, and then we'll be back with the third episode of the Short DK podcast, but hopefully the game too. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
All right, chat. Listen, I have been given a very special privilege. This is the top secret start match button. It was shipped out to all the casters. Apparently, the caster's desk is having a hard time with theirs, so we're going to try mine. Hold on one second. Let's see. Did I do it?
Nope, not working. Yo, Sean actually told me before the whole thing started, he's like, yo, I'm never pressing that damn button again. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, is it really a problem if we could stare in DDK's eyes all day? I think it's a win.
That's why I didn't have an issue whatsoever, but I think reflecting back on what DDK and Sean were saying and trying to theory craft what this lineup is going to look like or what this matchup is going to look like. I mean, we had a chance to predict who we thought was going to win, but I don't think we had our reasons why. I have a 2-0 at this point here for 100 Thieves, and I don't think necessarily that Immortals would be an underdog in this matchup, though. I think it's actually 100 Thieves that's the underdog of this matchup between Immortals and 100 Thieves, just because they have Ethan in here, just because they have to less practice, I guess, and they have to figure things out to try to beat a hot up-and-comer such as Immortals right now.
But you know what? I think it's devil's advocate right now. A lot of us are saying 100 Thieves because of the fact that we know their track record, right? If Still says, we're going to be ready for this event, we believe them. They win those events. But coming into this right now, I'm looking at it from like an X set and phase type of matchup, right? This is really scary because these are two very drastically in different play styles. You take a look at Immortals, right? And going against a one duelist lineup in a very strategic team, I mean, yes, 100 Thieves can pick them off if they're overly aggressive on the side of Immortals. But Immortals, I mean, you have Shot Up and Chemicals. Chemicals with that all play, like I said before, it's going to be hard challenging that unless, Ethan and Nitro want to pop off. And still, Shot Up exists. And when you have that Reyna / Bree, shout out to Potter calling that out. If you have him on the board just popping off, it's like, okay, you have Astra to battle against him, but then also Chemicals is still on the board. How are you going to strat and game plan around that? I think that with them going one duelist, they might not be worried about that for the simple fact that Utility can block off a lot of lines of sight, and I think they can work their way around that still. Nobody should sleep on Immortals, though. 100 Thieves, I mean, this is just like a faith thing that we're predicting them, but you guys got to remember throughout all the challengers, Immortals have been like one of the best teams. They've been popping off everywhere.
Here's something, though, that I think is interesting. I think right now, looking at 100 Thieves, this is potentially the lowest level that they'll perform at. And I'll explain why. With the more recent change, I feel like they actually drastically impacted their agent composition. So looking at Nitro was potentially one of the better omens in North America. I loved watching Nitro play, especially on a map like Icebox. He was like the multi-kill king. He would consistently lurk and find so many kills and high impact kills as well, opening up different avenues of attack on the map. Now that he's having to switch to other roles so that Ethan can feel comfortable playing the Omen, it's taking him down a level. Now, the team still finds wins and they still succeed, but when they unlock that next level and you see a new agent come in for Ethan to play, I think that this team is going to step things up to a whole different level, because then you can get Nitro back into that Omen position that he feels comfortable in, and you can put Ethan maybe on a duelist. Christine, if you're looking at a player like Ethan, what's the agent that you think makes the most sense for him in the long term?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I'll say that I don't necessarily view him on a duelist, to be honest with you. I mean, I know he's only 20 years old, but in my brain, he's like old. He's almost he's like a middle-aged man for some reason. He's just been around for so damn long, right? And that's rare to talk about when you're talking about a 20-year-old person. So definitely for Ethan, I'm thinking he's gonna have a lot more responsibilities than just a duelist has. Sure, duelists, they have a lot of responsibilities, but really at the end of the day, you're entering and you're getting a lot of headshots, as many headshots as you can. I'm thinking for Ethan, because he's got that experience under his belt, I think 100 Thieves are just going to keep experimenting with the one duelist, maybe even no duelist in the future. I think with 100 Thieves, they don't want to take as many 50-50 duels as they can. They want to be a little bit more calculated in their approach. And with the agents that they've been selecting, you can clearly see that. Now, the consistency, we haven't seen it yet, but at the same time, 100 Thieves don't play as many matches as like an Immortals does either. They don't compete quite as often. So I don't know if they're going to have a huge honeymoon period that's just going to keep going forward into 2021, or if we're going to see that kind of stop and break, because the growing pains, I think, are to be expected.
Alex, do you agree?
I do agree, but at the same time, I want to go back again to the maps because this has been going through my mind the whole time while we're talking here. Is I'm still surprised as to why Immortals picked Haven versus 100 Thieves when they actually haven't really played it during the VCTs at all. And I wonder if it's because they figured out how 100 Thieves currently play it because they've switched Nitro out to a Breach, where he was able to set a lot for the team too, playing as a Breach, as an anchor on the A side, or sorry, C side. When you have Steel that's anchoring towards A side, they switch that around. That could be a way to maybe counter what they have against 100 Thieves. But what does Immortals really have, and what can they do to actually get to play against that?
Yeah, speaking of the maps, let's take a look again at the maps just so you guys know where we're headed throughout the series. Again, we did already see the picks and bans. We're just working on some issues to get this match live here. Looking at the maps, it was 100 Thieves who selected Ascent. Immortals picking an interesting second map in Haven, not something we necessarily expected to see. And then we will be going to Bind for that third and final map. Comfortable territory for sure for both teams, but one we've seen successful throughout the history of every iteration of this Immortals roster. So do you think that it ends up coming to that third map? Vansili, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking about. I don't think it will, because 100 Thieves were able to have some great progression on Ascent since day one. I think day one when they played versus, I think it was Energy, right? Their first game, and it was Ethan's debut, and they played pretty much a Counter-Strike game because it went like 16-14 or 17-15 actually, if I remember correctly now, because I remember Steel tweeting out, oh, we wanted to make it look like it was Counter-Strike, but we couldn't finish at 16-14. We went over to like a double overtime or whatever it was for them to be able to win that match. So from that day into the further days into Ascent, they looked a lot better, and I think it looked up a lot better of how Nitro was playing Sage too. It was unorthodox for me the first time that I saw that he was putting a wall right in the front of A main when they're executing into the site and set up a cross into the door when they take control of the site. So it shows how they want to play different angles on the executions. And as Christine mentioned, they don't want to go too much of like the in-your-face 50-50 when they rush in. They want to be meticulous of how they want to execute into the sites. And as you see this progression, it's paying off for them. And now they're good on Haven as well. I want to know what Immortals has under their sleeve for Haven.
Get the button ready.
Get the button ready? Oh, okay.
Get the button ready, Bach.
All right, I'm gonna see if I can...
This is your moment, Bach.
Countdown. 3, 2, 1. Did it work? Casters, are you ready? Is the game starting?
I mean, it looks like it. We're good to go. We're here on Ascent. We're checking out the agent select, and finally, it's happening. At least I hope so. I don't want to be wrong. I'm sure everything's good. So here we go. We've already talked about Ascent. We didn't go into too much detail as we are waiting to see what agents we're going to get. Hiko, obviously, with the typical troll sitting on the Viper. We know he's not good for it. We know he's not good for actually. I mean, when you do this every single time, I feel like Hiko just needs to kind of disperse it out a little bit to make it a little bit more believable. But we'll ignore that for now. Obviously, in terms of things on the Immortals side, one of the elements that I'm really looking forward to is, as we kind of mentioned, is how disruptive are they going to be able to be? So we had a question as to whether they're going to be getting that Reyna pick on Shut Up, or if we're going to see the Breach. So as we can see right now, still kind of mixing around the agents. But I think one of the things that I'm going to be looking for regardless is making sure that Immortals are attacking like these areas such as A main, B main, making sure they can make these control plays. If they're able to do that, I think that's going to be a huge aspect of the mid round as to like how those fights go, because if they commit into those, they might get some frags off of them. Otherwise, they'll maybe earn some map control, or maybe lose some, maybe commit 100 Thieves to more players in that area of the map, freeing up other areas of the map. It's a lot of different elements to this, but I think that aggression is a huge part of the win condition here for Immortals. We're gonna have to see how it goes though as we get into this. Super excited, and I think it should run to the bathroom very quickly. There you go, you're back.
I am
Welcome back.
Yes. I am super excited. We are in the server finally. Did Shot Up pick Breach, Dan?
We did not get the Breach pick. We got the typical Hiko troll sitting on the Viper for a while, but everything's standard as we'd expect. So the Reyna comes out for Shot Up. So all is good in the hood.
All is good. This is going to be very interesting because I think Shot Up is going to play a super disruptive style on this Reyna. I think you saw Sentinels dismantle 100 Thieves on this map, correct? Where Sick was just all down their throats, just destroying their defaults, right? I think Shot Up might try something similar right now. and it's going to be such an exciting match to watch from his point of view, I'm sure.
And we'll start off with that A main aggression indeed coming through from Immortals, looking to take control there. You just mentioned Shut Up being maybe a big piece in this aggression, and we can see that already. Shock Dust coming through, trying to punish the ult pickup. Steel trying to get a little bit closer here. I love that Steel picks up Sheriffs in these pistol rounds. Again, there's a lot of like just quirky things that he tends to do. And just waiting for an aggression, but there is none so far.
There is none, and this is just 100 Thieves spreading the map. They're trying to force 2 to 3 people to play this A site, and Steel has done a fantastic job because this is a B hit. And these 2 players at the B site, smoke off the turret. So the lack of info coming in right now for 100 Thieves, do they realize this is going to be a B hit? I don't think they recognize what this is.
Looking to go for the breach here. The wall is up to cover the path straight through to the site, so looks like 100 Thieves should be able to get over, but nice. Pain shells coming through from Chemicals. That's going to whittle down the numbers on this plant defense coming through now for 100 Thieves. They don't really have that much in post-plant positioning at the moment. They're going to have to rely on still making the run all the way across from spawn right now, but can they hold on for long enough? Looks like all is well so far. Asna, Nitro picking up the frags, but not before Nature has something to say about it. Able to retake the site, but now it's Hiko and Steel coming into play. Trying to create problems. Great flick initially. Now down to Nature. Hard position to be in. No health to work with, and Hiko is going to finish it off.
Whew. Hiko lives around 1 HP left. Great job spreading the map, though, by 100 Thieves at the start of that round. Forcing, 3 people in that A site. Pouncing on B. I believe they probably heard the turret through the wall, which is why they smoked B main. 200 IQ play coming out of Ethan right there to throw that dark cover. And now here we have the second round, and it looks like, unlike the Stinger meta, Immortals is going to concede this one by full saving.
Oh, we got a little ice-orb lineup coming through there as well to deal with that aggression they were expecting on A main. Oh, everyone is just sending it through to A main at the moment, and it's actually working nicely. Immortals picking up that opening kill, creating some problems. Nitro does have a wall still, so he can just cut them off completely. They wouldn't really be able to do very much if he does pop that down, but wants to keep that wall alive. And Nitro with the challenge is not afraid at all. Out comes the classic as well. My God, this is actually just mad here on A main, Sean. You think that this is deathmatch?
It's actually crazy, but I respect that's a veteran play out of Nitro. A lot of people would think, oh, we just run away from the A main push, but they didn't actually know how many people were still in A main. So Nitro opts to, take that fight against the people without weapons. The fights aren't that bad to take anyway. So why not just take them? Closing out yet again another round. Doing what he does best. 100 Thieves up 2-0. And now we have the first gun round the entire game.
It's really interesting, Sean, here, because we're seeing this presence around A main, and that we know that Gangster and JC Stanny are probably going to continue the pressure there by themselves, even if Shut Up moves around the map, but we still have a lot of presence there.
This is definitely something that tells me, this is kind of an anti-strat type feel that I'm getting right now out of Immortals. They really want A main control every single round against 100 Thieves. Look how much pressure they're putting. 3 people here every round. One-way smoke coming there from Omen. And meanwhile, 2 people nested in the B site. So they fully give up mid with a turret holding market. And this is going to be, again, a passive round coming out of 100 Thieves. Steel using the turret to clear top mid. Sliming out into what we call Sabrosa spot right here. It looks like Hiko's going to work with Ethan to grab control of A main simultaneously.
I like this switch of... Oh, the pain shell's going straight through deep. Oh, JC Stanny picks off 2, and they managed to evade the incoming pain shells as well. So really great work there. Great timing found by Immortals. And it's all by design, I feel like. They, as you say, they deny the control around A main. They kind of realize that a rotation has to come through from 100 Thieves to take some control. They find them in mid, and now 100 Thieves, 3 against 5. It's going to be pretty difficult to find value here, and that's a great Nate again. Chemicals delivering with the pain shells. He is good for it on that raise.
What's that, 3 this game already? 3 in 3 rounds. Pain shell frags.
That's awesome. What a track record to work with. But in terms of 100 Thieves, 3 versus 5, they're going for tree control here, trying to push through with the drone. Nice opening kill from Ethan. Still a winnable round here. The paranoia comes through, but it misses Ethan, and that's the mechanics we were talking about. Oh, and Nitro makes it worse, and all of a sudden, Sean, a 3 versus 2 advantage for them.
Yeah, the trades all go in 100 Thieves' favor, and this is a nightmare scenario all of a sudden for 100 Thieves. Very
difficult retake scenario. Turret will be taken down. Ethan playing the headshot positions with his teammates, and it's just so hard to get through rafters here. There's limited utility. Paranoia comes through to just make life a little bit worse. The dark cover as well. And it's looking extremely grim here for this retake attempt. And just like that, a 3 versus 5 into a 3 versus 0. 100 Thieves with a really nice recovery after what looked like a great approach from Immortals.
Indeed, yeah, they had such a good early approach, getting a main control, leaving the one-way smoke there. You know, if the attackers, try to get control of that again, they're going to make sound cues. You're going to know that they're in a main if in these pro matches. So they recede back to catwalk and they take the fight mid. Everything is going their way up until the point where Chemicals is caught in that slow and dies on catwalk. And then everything crumbled so fast.
It's actually quite interesting to see that there is no stingers at all here, but just all sheriffs. That's pretty cool. See what Immortals can do with that. Obviously, Sean was praising their skill earlier, so Sheriff is a fantastic weapon to really capitalize on that, but looks like A main will be given by Immortals. They're choosing to play more of a retake setup here. They don't want to put anything to chance with some of these early aggressive plays, likely because they've just been going to them so often, and 100 Thieves certainly expect that.
Yeah, this is interesting because we said Immortals kept taking A main control. This is the first round they didn't take A main control. Are they ditching their game plan, or is this just a different look? We kind of have to wait to find out, but right now, 100 Thieves is in full control early in this game. And you can see they're moving these Immortals players all over the map right now. They're trying to force 2 people in this B site before the A hit happens, but actually 100 Thieves is reading this quite well.
This will be quite interesting here for Immortals. They're going to have opportunities to get a couple of shots. They're shot up. Beautiful initial kill. More trades coming through here. And the time is starting to become an issue. 20 seconds to get the spike down. They don't have sight control just yet. They don't have time to rotate. 100 Thieves have to force the issue. There's the wall, able to look over the dark cover at the back. That's a nice touch, but JC standing with 2, and all of a sudden, Immortals slow and patient, methodical play might pay off. There's no time, just have to play the time very slowly. Gangster, he knows Nitro's committed to this plan, but which way will he peek first? Gangster going for the swing here, trying to get the right guess, but it's Nitro to save the day, gets the ace and the res for the economy right at the end.
I love it. There's so many little things 100 Thieves did well right there, and it looked like Immortals had all of the answers. I mean, they had the sight stack, shot up, getting the entry, dismissing out. I loved Nitro's wall in the back of A main. Allows him to see over the dark cover. He's able to protect his teammates who are from people coming out of heaven, as well as see over the sight box into hell. Such a cool little, wall that I haven't seen out of Nitro, who's not really a Sage main.
Again, 100 Thieves, they've got so many tricks up their sleeves, and it was a great touch indeed. And oh man, I mean, at least for Immortals, they did a lot of damage to the economy, and 100 Thieves will probably be, I feel like, encouraged to go a bit faster on the next anti-eco. But we do have the operator coming out from Chemicals.
Oh, damn, look at the conditioning from 100 Thieves throughout this game. So this is the first round Immortals didn't get A main control. They just had 3 people nested in A blindly, and that's the wrong call.
Yikes, and that is Astra not finding the love. He's looking for again Chemicals with the paint shells. He just finds so much value. The operator is what he's carrying, but it doesn't even seem to matter at this point. Just give that guy the nades, and he's good to go. And this is the lurk, though, from Seal that could change things a little bit. Hiko's committing the one on the site, and there's the follow-up nades from Chemicals, obviously refreshing the signature off of those 2 kills. They know precisely where Hiko is right now. He's going to pick up one, but surely not. It is Hiko after all, but there's so many players. Paranoia comes through, back against the wall in the boathouse, and he is going to be sent very far away, and Immortals pick that one up. Wow, Chemicals, I don't think I've ever seen so many nade kills from a Raze this early on.
It's wild. The one he's throwing, though, into lane from Market on these B hits is devastating to 100 Thieves B hit. Because what they do is they're walling, so that way they all have to go that way into the paint shells. And it's just such a tiny corridor. It's the perfect agent to have in the perfect spot, throwing the perfect piece of utility right now.
It is definitely much needed as well. Immortals picking up one round. They've had a few close ones, but love to see if they can. Yeah, it's going to be some A main pressure as well. I like the Ice Orb as well. That obviously stops any re-aggression because you can't move into that and take a fight. It's too disadvantageous, so that's going to win the Orb control. Oh, there's the Satchel though, trying to punish it with the ult. Chemicals not finding what he's looking for. The Paint Shell's not finding a frag this time.
100 Thieves is up cat right now. On the side. Oh, Chemicals whips around.
Chemicals is in such an important position with the operator, trying to hold things down here. The entries are coming though from Ethan and Asuna, although Immortals are doing a good job at holding onto the control. They've got spike control as well. It's down in tree at the moment, and it's just looking very difficult for Hiko, who's stuck in a main behind this smoke, and he will get traded through. And I think, Sean, just as you said, like that they were able to, 100 Thieves were able to get up cat because Immortals were not scared and they maintained the A main control. They actually were able to defend that because they held onto A main. So it was such a close timing.
It was incredibly close on the timing for 100 Thieves right there. I mean, they got up cat completely unnoticed and had Gangsta in the side of the head, but he weaseled away, and then Chemicals just peeks out, plucks one off, and I mean, at that point, everything stalled out. 100 Thieves couldn't advance forward anymore.
We were talking about the A main takes in the pregame and the agent select. I didn't expect it to be this dominant so far.
Yeah.
It's it is what the story is primarily about right now.
Yeah, and then once 100 Thieves gets it like this, they usually go and, you know, reclaim other areas of the map. But Chemicals has full B main control, which is allowing his team to 4-stack A right now.
There goes the Hunter's Fury from Hiko. He's usually good for one, and there we go. The counter ult coming through as well from Gangster, looking to see what he can find. Slow down the push, the wall behind the smoke once again. It's looking great though so far for Immortals. Shot up able to pick off one. JC Stanny by the button as well, so it is still quite difficult here for 100 Thieves. More utility thrown in. I'm not sure if it's... Yeah, looks like it's going to be called off here for 100 Thieves to reset. Steel has lurked up towards tree, and they can use him to just hold this position.
Dan, JC's right on their heels. Oh my goodness, what an amazing ult coming out of Ethan. Enters an empty B site. JC Sonny's lurk completely worthless now, and everything has changed.
It's crazy too, because how could he have known? I don't think you could expect that. Steel though, oh, you expect Steel to pick that one up. That's what he was there to do. Catch the rotations, be in a sneaky position. But JC Stanny takes him down, and that might just tip this round slightly towards Immortals. Coming in on the retake, they've only got to worry about B main and the site itself. The recon is going to tell them that both players on site are probably Boathouse. So lots of info here on the retake for Immortals as they push forward. It's all about the perfect timing from Nitro, but as I say that, he's going to find it, and Hiko will finish it off. Immortals struggling here, but it does feel like they're putting up a great fight.
They really are, and Nitro on this Sage, he is 15-4, Dan. He's doing the battle Sage. We haven't seen it much in NA. It's taken a long time, but all it took was Ethan switching over and stealing Nitro's agent, and he's a monster on Sage, I guess. I mean, he knows all these Sage slow lineups now. He's walling in the back of A main to look over the smokes, getting different elevations. He's playing it perfectly right now.
I have to say, I do think the slow lineups are very underrated. We don't see enough of them. They're extremely good.
No defender wants to push in front of that. And you can see he's lining that one up for B main, so that way no one wants to push in B main. You'd be stuck.
Immortals just did a 3-man clear A main, but the pacing here from 100 Thieves up mid is quite fast. But Immortals, the A main players, have now already rotated towards Tree and Cat, so they will try to push forwards. And there's another one of those walls looking over into the site. That's a more commonly known one. Have to see if Gangster can survive though, because I feel like there might be a peak there for Nitro, but he will hold on to his position for now. Gangster will be forced back off spawn, so B-side control's looking good here right now for 100 Thieves. Immortals once again in a very awkward position. Don't really have the numbers. JC Stanny's going to have to do something insane to make this look doable here for Immortals, and nailed through the smoke. Very unfortunate for him. And with that said, Gangster will also fall 6-2 for 100 Thieves, but again, it feels, Sean, like Immortals are doing a great job with their game plan. Like they managed to figure out what was happening. They just don't seem to be able to stop it when, you know, once 100 Thieves have position.
Yeah, it feels like death by 1,000 paper cuts right now for Immortals. I mean, it's just slowly, piece by piece, utility is pushing them back further and further, you know, chipping away at their HP. And meanwhile, 100 Thieves is just slowly advancing into the site. Nitro's getting more aggressive angles on his wall. And everything is just playing out in 100 Thieves' favor as the round draws on. I think next gun round we might see Immortals try to open things up with a bit more aggression towards middle. They've yet to try that, and I think that would help them out a lot.
What's interesting in this round is that it's another one of those save rounds. We saw this almost be won by Immortals previously, where they stacked everybody with the sheriffs towards the A site. This time they started the round with 3 on B, but now they've rotated all towards A, perhaps respecting the utility from 100 Thieves. Great nade from Chemicals, found a great timing, lots of damage done. Asma very weak now. And that's important too, you know, Raze is the entry player. We're gonna get the Raze satcheling in. Ethan will take control on Catwalk too, so it is looking pretty good here for 100 Thieves, but time is starting to tick.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of confusing Immortals right now. You can see Nature rolling back to the B site. He doesn't know if they're in mid. He doesn't know if they're in B main. He's very lost over there in the B site. But they've still guessed right, and that opening Bucky kill is going to slow things down on Catwalk for Steel. He has second thoughts about following up that direction.
From Ethan's perspective, that was so amusing, but we'll see 100 Thieves finally pulling the trigger on the attack. The entries are looking undeniable. So far, the site is now theirs. They can get a plant with some seconds to spare. Still damage to be done here, though, but Gangster not finding his shot. Maybe Nature can do one better with his Sheriff. And this will be 100 Thieves going 7-2. And as you say, Sean, we're going to go into the next gun round, and you wanted to see more aggression in middle from Immortals just to switch it up.
Yeah, that, and I think it helps to play aggressive towards middle when you have a Killjoy ult, because you could always just retake either side, right? You can play in middle, you can try to shut down the defaults and the mid control, and then if they do hit a site, you have the Killjoy ult to just easily retake it. I don't know if that's how Immortals thinks, but you can clearly see they have a tactical pause right now. Their game plan is definitely not working. So they have to switch things up on the fly. They have to adapt. And I'm curious to see what that adaptation is going to be here. By the alarm bot mid, I don't think they're going to play aggressive mid. I think they're going to play passive mid. So the turret is going to hold the B main contact. And the Raze is going to immediately break that turret, draw a rotate to B, hopefully. But again, the battle is going to be at A main. We say it time and time again. This A main control, whoever wins the A main fight here is likely going to win the round.
Yeah, and it's something it does seem very comfortable for Immortals to fight over this. And what's great to see from 100 Thieves is that they have setups to deal with a team like this that has so much expertise taking this position. And once again, the exchange of utility, the ice orb, you can see that it just is so paralyzing. You can't really get too aggressive. But with the counter utility, that does buy them the timing to actually walk out and not respect the ice orb, which is huge. Great nades coming in from Chemicals again, dealing lots of damage. Heal unknown in an elevated position.
And that's a big kill for Steel to get, because that's going to keep these two at A main. It might draw shot up a little bit closer. You know, no one's holding Cat right now, so Gangsta's feeling tons of pressure. Just the loss of that person in A main changes everything. And the Cat lurk is coming in now. Oh my. It's a heaven split, Dan. This is insane.
That is quite the wall. Love to see that. And you're completely right. Circumventing any players around the site. And that's such a smart move. And there goes the satchel play. Gangsta's going to drop Asuna, though.
They know he's stuck, though, Dan. Look at this wall.
Oh, God, there's nowhere to go. But at least Gangsta picks up one more. But Nitro is fragging out so much. He's got just res for days. Shot up, though, from above, from the rafters position. Looking to try to reclaim some kind of space. Make this look doable. 2 versus 3 here. And nice little juke there from Nature in the fight against Ethan. However, the Killjoy ultimates coming in. Should nullify one another. And that kind of cripples things for the retake attempt. Nature, though, is going to pick off Nitro. Look like they want to try to get rid of this defender Killjoy ult.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Dan, can he get around the corner in time? He can. Wow, Nature doesn't know where Steel went.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Heartbreaking.
And there's just simply no time at this point. That's so unfortunate. So close. Having to invest the Killjoy ult. At least they forced it out from 100 Thieves as well. But at the same time, it's just heartbreak indeed. 8-2 in the advantage now for 100 Thieves as they continue to find a lot of success. And that split was genius, Sean. Especially because they know how heavy Immortals like to play in A main. They aren't playing players passively in those positions. So they get so much free control.
Yeah, it seems like 100 Thieves is doing this seesaw in the A site, right? If Immortals shows heavy pressure A main, 100 Thieves will lurk catwalk because they know that Immortals cannot watch both simultaneously. And vice versa. If they're showing heavy presence catwalk, 100 Thieves just grabs A main for free. And they're just playing off of whatever Immortals shows right now. And that's what they're doing at the start of the round. They're playing passive now, A main again. Shot up. This is a very different look. He's solo pushed. He's ready to take this fight the entire round.
And this is cool to see too, because with that control, they may expect that once again 100 Thieves may just try to walk up catwalk, and there is a setup hit ready to deal with that. Trying to find a timing, going for the push. JC Stanny wants to take the initiative. I think they've spotted one. Actually, maybe he didn't see the head there, but doesn't matter because Asuna's going to go down anyway, and they can fall back off of that. They got what they wanted. 5 versus 4, and in the meantime, Steel's lurking the A main position, keeping presence. And Chemicals he's asking questions. Oh, they're going to push straight through that dark cover into his line of sight. However, some ground gained by 100 Thieves here. This is going back and forth right now. So it looks like Immortals are in a pretty good spot.
Nature sending Ethan back, but the split is still on. 2 people coming through market, and they're going to beat the rotate. So Nature is going to have a 1-on-3 right now in this site.
Oh, able to almost capitalize off the paranoia, trying to escape the color. It's going to work out for Ethan as JC Stanny's able to take him down. Good fights coming through. They have the numbers advantage, and now it's a 3 versus 2. So just down to Steel. The entry coming in from Gangsta is just phenomenal work from him. Beautiful team play ultimately from Immortals, and they've worked so hard for these rounds, and finally they'll pick another one up.
They did work hard for that. When the rotate was coming in, I thought Ethan would have a dark cover in his pocket for CT spawn B, and thus they would have the 1-on-3 on Nature. But no smoke spawn means the rotate comes in, and they can't even get to Nature. They don't even get remotely close to the site.
I really love as well just how they just had shot up solo holding A main. I think that timing they found on Asuna in mid, that was huge, and they're going to go back to their shenanigans here on A main.
They're going back to B, and they're going into Chemicals, who's had all this success with the paint shells, and he has the ult, the showstopper right now in market. This could be a massive round out of Chemicals.
Ooh, sending the boom bot forward too. You might get some info off of that. So he knows that there's at least a lurk there, and there go the paint shells. Oh, beautiful paint shells coming through from Chemicals, and the showstopper to boot. Gangsta able to finish off the Hunter's Fury. So much damage being done before 100 Thieves can get the push started, and that's going to leave them just crippled.
Holy cow, the heads up play to throw the paint shells through the wall where the Sage Wall happens. Oh my god, love the adaptation out of Chemicals right there.
Oh my god. Did they like shoot Steel before he peeked there through the wall? That was like some precognition stuff going on from Immortals. And Eco in the 1 versus 4. How many times have we said that? He will have a free site to plant. He has himself a Hunter's Fury.
Yeah.
But it feels like he's going to need a couple kills, it feels like, before that ult's going to be viable. And he's going to play site, which may be beyond the expectation. They know he can't move too much further, though. They'll just trade it out, dropping off all 3 from the rafters. And that's going to be 4 rounds for Immortals. Something to work with in this half. And again, I have to say, Sean, I feel like Immortals did so much right. Yet, you know, this is what we were talking about. 100 Thieves, they just managed to just do such a good job, no matter the situation, always having a counter in mind.
Yeah, and that's an 8-4 dominant half by 100 Thieves. And you look at the scoreboard, and their only duelist is at the bottom. I mean, Asuna, their star players at the bottom, and they still had such an easy time that half. This is a rough spot to find yourself if you're an Immortals fan, because if Asuna gets activated this game and he's finding entries and they're winning the late game scenarios, that's when things really could be snowballing.
I'm hoping to see, you know, going into the second half, you know, everyone's hoping to see a competitive game, of course, always, but hoping to see a good start from Immortals in terms of getting the pistol. I really want to see how their defaulting develops and the style that they are approaching this with, but again, it's going to be down to the success they find here and starting things off with a lot of mid presence, actually. We go pretty fast towards Market and Pizza.
The alarm bot, and Steel actually let the molly in mid. That's very rare coming out of Killjoy. He's slowing down the hit. Nitro's gonna be first contact. Hicks back Steel.
Ooh. It's looking awkward, like they were going to get sandwiched, but somehow the sandwich strikes back. We've got Chemicals getting the frags, moving out of Market, and now it's just Asuna and Hiko remaining to try to do something, and Immortals are not letting up the pressure. They're just charging them down, and I gotta... if you looked at the minimap, you paused when all of, like, Immortals was standing in Market, and 100 Thieves, like, have seemingly, if you look on the minimap, the best positions possible to make their lives impossible. Somehow Immortals still got all of the kills. So I don't know how that works, but I am happy to see Immortals getting off to a good start in the second half.
Yeah, I thought the bait setup from Nitro and Steel in the B side, especially when Nitro's first contact, I knew he would take that peek and then hide. It felt like they would definitely not clear where Steel was, but Shut Up just destroyed him. That was the turning point. Nature putting the alarm bot in B main, basically telling him no one's gonna push B. The turret in mid, so he has full map control over here on this left side of the map. Meanwhile, the rest of his team, you know, can lurk A.
Fun to see the mid aggression coming out from 100 Thieves on the defense here, and a good read from Immortals. They see so many players, they can just fall back and away. Always fun to see a shock dart kill. Ooh. Asuna, can he pick up that Plucky? That would be nice. Doesn't look like it might be possible, though. JC standing on the other end of things, holding position, leaving just Nitro in mid alone. Nitro would come away well with an extra kill. Looks like it might be very difficult to find it, but we'll see if he can do that. Otherwise, I would say that, you know, this round, the result looks like you would expect it to be. And what should we be looking for from Immortals on their attack, Sean? What do you want to see from them?
Well, it looks like what their goal here is going to have Nature be on that B side of the map or A side, opposite of his team, right? And just show presence, hold it down over in the opposite direction. Right now he's heading over to B. So this is a weird, awkward round because they're keeping all these Spectres. Gangsta has an Ares, Shot has a Bucky. They're probably just going to send it this round. But in future gun rounds, I would expect Nature to be away from the pack. This round is going to be wild, though, Dan. So I'm going to go ahead and let you take control. This one.
Not sure if I should be thankful for that, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, Steel's going to... He's instantly... So this is a great read, trying to slow down rush timings. And that buys time for Steel's teammates to get info on the rest of the map. And that means that they have info A main now. So off the bat, it's looking like 100 Thieves get all the info.
Yeah, because they're in A main and droning off Cat. They know all these guys are B, but it's not going to matter. They're not going to get the rotating time at this rate.
Oh my god, I love the play from 100 Thieves in B main. It's so intelligent.
The slow molly combo while you're simultaneously pushing A main for info. So no matter what, on a round like this, you would know if a team is going to do a sight hit. This is so smart from 100 Thieves. But now, because Immortals has slowed down the round, I actually favor them because they have the utility advantage. 100 Thieves required a lot of utility to do what they did, and they were expecting a fast-paced round. And no longer are we in a fast-paced round.
Yeah, just looking to contact into the A site. There's not really much stopping power here. Ethan has a paranoia, and he's going to have a couple of smokes available too. So Ethan's huge in that, and I think he threw the paranoia pretty early there, but we'll see if he can do some damage with the rifle. Out comes that paranoia. In fact, I was mistaken, but he's going to get all the frags anyway. Great trades coming through from 100 Thieves, looking like they're getting all the value, leaving just the lurk. Nature coming up catwalk, and it's already a tall task, and unfortunately there's no time, there's no plays to be made, and 100 Thieves will win the round. And it's cool, I have to say, Sean, that we saw Immortals after we praised 100 Thieves for their opening so much. I feel like Immortals did the right thing, and I think you mentioned that too, that they went into advantage with how they rotated and played slow. So it's good to see that they know what to do. They know how to read the map well.
It's very easy to feel cornered. Like, we have no map control. We have to go B. We have to. We have no info on the other side, so you have to go B. But they said, no, we're going to go back to A here. And we're going to clear out the map. And that was actually the right decision.
So more A main focus.
Here's
the start of this
over
round.
at that B site, though. He alarm botted very aggressively. Nitro's pushing up. Nitro gets tagged by that alarm bot.
And we're going to get a pick up here from the Hunter's Fury. Nice openings. All this focus around A mains working out.
This has to be over. Immediate 5-on-3 for Immortals. Spike going down. I don't know how 100 Thieves comes back into this round. Hiko, no ult. Asuna, no ult.
Well, pain shells are there for Asuna. He might be able to clear some space with that. Looks like they are following your assessment and backing away. This is one of those situations where if you can get a quick, easy one, you might consider trying to get something else and then kind of work your way forward, but nothing given right now from 100 Thieves and rather from Immortals. So it looks like you're totally right.
Dan, they're showing tons of pressure on the CT spawn exit of the site. Everyone is about to come in, and Nitro, who just put a very quirky wall down on spawn, holding for this push. This is going to be wild.
Able to pick off one. There's the paint shells too. That's actually going to cause problems too. Oh my god, this is actually really problematic.
Oh, they slowed him into the spike pit. No way! Oh my god, they're
that's so awesome. Oh, I love this is what I'm talking about, man. Exit kill strats. That's what you want to see.
This is what excites you, Dan. This is the stuff that you lose sleep over.
Yeah, I mean, it's so awesome to see too, because like one team thinks they've crushed the round and they've gotten to the site with 5 players. Like you said, Sean, they've crushed it. They're not going to drop a single player from that point. You think the other team's saving? Nah. And they're just setting up to wipe you out. That's awesome.
Technical pause here. One of the Immortals player probably punched a hole in their monitor when there was a slow A main and they were trying to live from the spike.
Oh, that's so genius from 100 Thieves. This is the level of stuff you do want to see out of the top teams. Just what are the edges we can create? Because there are a lot of teams that would perhaps have actually tried to get some mileage retaking there, but instead of 100 Thieves, they knew the spot where they could say, all right, well, we have a setup for exit kills. We know that there's like no chance we can get back into this site. Let's try to just do damage in a way that is on our terms.
I need to know where Nitro has found all these sage walls. Is there like a Discord like Average Jonas's? And here's Nature showing B main presence again. His teammates are gonna work mid. He is getting pushed on a lot. He's feeling a lot of pressure in B main.
I'm just loving this slow ops, man.
Yeah, and here's shot up. He's gonna go through the smoke, but the drone kind of slows down his timing a bit.
Enemy tag.
Oh. Disgusting for Nico.
Nice play. Asuna comes through. He tries to punish off of the tag from the drone, but it's not going to work out. Asuna not finding the connections he's looking for so far. And that's definitely a welcome sign for Immortals. Ethan's going to spot a peek there. That's going to actually tell him a lot. It tells him what the mid-round rotation is. Right now, Immortals want to finish on this A site, and 100 Thieves know about it, but can they stop it? Great nanoswarm coming through from Steel to slow things down. Ethan playing around the smoke. When it looked like 100 Thieves were going to be struggling, they find every frag, the lurk from Nitro in mid as well, leaving just Nature 1 versus 4. And, well, that's going to be a wrap. 100 Thieves take him down, and considering how much economic damage was done because of the exit kills in the previous round, yep, there's no money left for Immortals.
Yeah, I mean, you painted the picture so perfectly. When Ethan peeked A main and saw the Omen there, I mean, a lot of viewers might think, he just saw an agent there. But a CS player thinks that Omen cannot smoke B spawn. B is out of the picture. These guys are definitely hitting the A site, and there's definitely people coming up catwalk right now. And you could see it. It was like a hive mind type mentality. Everyone started rotating towards A. But here's a B hit. This is going to be... All 5 are there.
And actually, there's no... I don't think that... Oh, there was a slow. Man, these slows are so money. The value from these slows are insane. The amount of rotation time this ball, the defense, well, the amount of those chemicals is straight out there. And he's going to find Nitro, Nature onto Asuna. And just like that, Immortals managing to find a timing into this B site because of the duelist, because of these forward engagements. And this is going to be a tough one here for 100 Thieves. They've got a lot of utility to work with in terms of what Hiko's carrying, but and the paranoia is available too for Ethan. But this is going to be very tough. In the 3v5, they spotted a lot of info. Lurk through B main. This timing onto JC Stanny is going to be huge. If Steel can get control of this position, he can work with Ethan. It unlocks the potential for them to coordinate back into the site as they manage to try to make their way up sidewall, just slowed by this utility. Nature with the nanoswarm. And now it's just down to Hiko, and he will be taken down again. And oh, you'd love to see it, Sean. Just these slow orbs, I feel like a lot of teams would be conditioned to feel like they can't make the fast exec, but still, Immortals recognize that they can still do that.
That's a devastating round loss for 100 Thieves. Immortals coming in with a thrifty. They go right past the slow. Chemicals satcheling in. You know, the only one on the team with a movement ability to get past these slows. Abuses it, catches 100 Thieves completely unaware. I love that call for a thrifty round.
Beautiful stuff, and I wonder if that's going to change the story here now, because we can see 100 Thieves, that's breaking their economy. The Buckies come out in Asuna.
Yeah, we have a game now.
Yeah, and it's mid is the call right now to start things off. Of course, Immortals understands.
Shot's going through this.
He's brave.
Ooh.
That's his job on the Reyna. I like the paint shells to cover shot up so he can escape it without being harassed. And this is all an information game too. They're trying to find, you know, what utility is being thrown at us to counter, what rotations can we force, are we going to get any extra info, and resetting into the A play. But how will 100 Thieves figure this out in time? It looks like maybe not.
Look at the rotate. I mean, Immortals reading this round perfectly. They're coming into form right now, right when it matters.
This is a great one. These anti-eco rounds in Valorant, I feel like, are very difficult against top-level teams. But as you say, Immortals navigating it quite nicely.
On an eco?
Oh, he's going for it. I didn't expect that.
I did not expect this.
We'll have to check the ult economy at the end of this round, but
they're pushing
they're going, indeed, they're absolutely going for it right now. This is
very
aggressive.
To stop it.
No way. How many people are going to get detained? Oh, no! Everyone's getting detained. 3 players detained on the side of 100. Oh, this is just madness. I don't even know how to call this here. Obviously, the spike's still ticking away. There's no one near to defuse it, but that was just nuts.
That literally looked like some awkward middle school dance. You know, like everyone keep their distance. You know, make sure your skirts are long, your shirts are all tucked in. What is going on here? I've never seen 2 people on opposite teams. What?
Next to each other. That is just so crazy. I mean, I was struggling to work out what the hell was happening there. I'm sure they were as well. We were talking about the ult economy too, because still opting to drop the lockdown there in a round that doesn't seem winnable, and obviously wasn't in the end. They're still coming out ahead slightly on the ults. Nitro with the res, Eco with the Hunter's Fury, Asuna 2 away from the showstopper. So it's going to be interesting to see if that comes into play.
They're just sending shot up right through these mid smokes. The difference in styles is so apparent when you watch these teams. The Reyna's so strong at going through smokes. Typically in pro play, that player would be traded out, so it's not a good play as an attacker to go through the smoke. But a Reyna, if they get a frag, can dismiss out. But the aggression on catwalk from Ethan, finding too early, Dan. This round looks like it's over.
Yeah, really nice timing. Immortals maybe overstaying their welcome in mid.
Ooh.
That slow pace can be a double-edged sword, and at least there is 1 kill back, and JC Stanny lurked through a main during this time. So even though it's a 2 versus 3, the positioning of JC Stanny can change the round completely. They don't know about this maneuver. They can possibly anticipate it. We can see Hiko has expectation that this is a play that is possible, but it comes down to the frag.
Oh.
JC Stanny gets it somehow, and with that frag, there is a chance now.
Nitro does have a res, so even though this is a 2-on-2, Dan, this next frag is so important.
Player standing.
And there's the res, as you said. And now for Nature, the kind of shenanigans he's going to have to pull out is going to be really nuts. He's just been spotted too, so Slow comes through, drops back onto the site to find the headshots. Isolates one player, the second for Nature. He's looking for the last one. Complete the clutch, he gets the dink! Oh no, that's heartbreaking!
Dan. The 140 dink comes in.
Oh, the Vandal fam, man. One more player to the Vandal fam, I think.
Oh. What an insane clutch opportunity right there from Nate. I thought he had it. He was playing it so perfectly, and he played with so much confidence, taking those fights.
Oh, it's just he found the timing on the first player. Sometimes, you think, oh, they misplayed it. They were 3v1, but just he found the perfect timing, like you said, to isolate the 1v1s. And that is just insanely difficult to find those times. So hard. And you said we had a game on our hands here, Sean. It's 11-9. 100 Thieves look like they're about to run away with this one unless Immortals can come up with something.
And you can see 100 Thieves is just full rolling into B main at the start of these rounds. They know Nature's there alone. So they scout it out for free at the start of every round. And then they play passive. They realize the next 30 seconds an A hit could happen. But these A players, they're actually on an island. Shot up is about to have a field day.
Tag, but it's on to Race. You can satchel away. Asuna pulls out the showstopper straight through to A main. And that is dodged completely by Immortals. And shot up reopening the site with 2 entries is going to steal this away from 100 Thieves, who are now going to have to play the retake battle. They do have Hunter's Fury available from Hiko, and Steel, he's just going to go straight out there. But we do have the lockdown coming through. Nature is very wary of Steel's push there. Pretty common to want to push these lockdowns on the edges. And Nature's just denying every single one, like the bouncer outside the club. Denying entry. Hiko in the 1v3. It's never good to count Hiko out. Always good for a clutch, but this one is looking quite difficult. Players on every single angle. And JC Stanley taken down 10-11. Immortals bring themselves back into this one.
They are in full control of this game now, Dan. Look at the money on 100 Thieves. For the first time in this entire game, I might think, 100 Thieves might lose this game. It's about to be 11-11 after an eco round. And the momentum and economy is fully on Immortal's side. Nature playing so well these last couple rounds.
I'm really impressed by the resilience from Immortals, given how the first half went too. It's just looking like such a great matchup, and slow pace coming through from Immortals here on the attack. Definitely feeling there's, they're playing the anti-eco. They want to make sure they don't run into any setups, using the drone to make it safe as they start to contact through a main, pick up the orb. One away now, Chemicals from another showstopper. And they're just going to straight entry onto A. So they've gambled this a little bit, Sean. They didn't have that much information, but they're correct. And it's just Steel. I say just Steel, but they know that he's there now in the help position with the Bucky. Ethan, oh dear. He's managed to actually find himself a frag and Steel with the Bucky, causing problems. This isn't supposed to be happening right now. Steel with the Bucky again. And it's not looking very good at all right now for Immortals. They don't have control. With the last bullet though, Nature finds a headshot. So much more work to be done here though, as he has to reclaim control of the site, has to win the battle against Hiko, and that's the first box ticked. One more to go as the swing comes through, but with the thrifty, it's Steel, who locks it in for 100 Thieves for the 12th round on the board.
Match point.
Oh my goodness, just Steel in the site. You said it. You couldn't have said it any better. He was all alone, just nested in there with a Bucky, and they could not get him out. It was just, he refused to go down. 3 with the Bucky, one with the Vandal to close it out. A 4K on the biggest round of the entire match for the in-game leader on 100 Thieves.
Nature was so close there as well. His pre-aim was slightly off his peak. It's just, he's been playing so well. Oh, wow. This is it. All the marbles for map 1 at least. Can Immortals find a way to do this? They have a good weaponry at least. Chemicals on the showstopper. Nature one away from finding himself a lockdown if he can get an orb somewhere. Which may try to get the main orb.
They don't. I don't think Hiko's aware. It doesn't matter. You can see Asuna is aware that it could be a possibility, so he drops the boom bot. Whew. Shot up is so scary on this Reyna. He's willing to make the plays to give his team a chance.
The tension here is palpable as we see the pace slow to a halt. Typically, when the pace is slowed this much, you can see Immortals were expecting it. A cat push comes from 100 Thieves, which has worked, but Immortals were ready for it this time, but it won't come through. Ethan using the ult from the shadows there for info. They're so starved of information right now, but here comes the entry play. Oh, dodging it with the satchel. Krasna coming back in to deal with Dota, but it's looking great. Immortals had what they needed to string together the kills to get in towards that B site for this, and they're not done just yet. Out comes Nitro, dealt with the nage from Chemicals again. And there it is. The spike is going down. 3 versus 2 here for Immortals to try to keep themselves alive here on a sense. It's going to be tough, but there's not a... I mean, the lockdown is available for Steel here, Sean. If he can find this kill...
Oh, but Nature drops the lockdown first, Dan.
Oh, there's the swing.
Around.
And that's looking good. It's looking really good. It would have been even better if somehow they would have convinced Steel to drop his lockdown, but Hiko is still alive. He wants to cause some problems. We'll see if he can do something crazy. It is Hiko, and he's found one of the 3 that remain. Charging into the site. The time is forcing his hand here. He has to keep charging down, and Nature's going to take him out. And there you go. Immortals, 11-12.
Oh my goodness. These rounds are so close. They're so close. And even though 100 Thieves won an eco to get us into that round, look at their money yet again. It's broken. Steel, only one able to afford a rifle. He has an op. That's the only weapon of value on his team.
Sean, it's crazy too because the only ult of value is the lockdown, but you can't really retake very well with an operator. So do they even want to play for the lockdown?
He's speaking off Cat. He's looking for an early kill.
Oh, he nails it. Oh no, they're giving it to Steel right now. The nade's come through, but he's done his job. He's got 2 and only down to 50 health. This was the win condition, Sean. This is the one thing that had to go the way of 100 Thieves to win this round was for that operator to work.
Yep. It's crazy. You live by the fight, you die by the fight, Dan. These guys have been taking these fights every round, and they haven't been punished by an operator yet. And that could be because Dicey's not in the server. Ooh. Oh. But if you look at this, the B site could fall. This is not locked away yet.
Yeah, the retake power with these weapons is not great for 100 Thieves, even though they have the lockdown. So if Immortals can just get into the site, that would be huge for them. Their chances to turn this one around. JC standing, he senses the lurk from Hiko in the smoke, takes him out, but Nitro has a Bucky on the site. He's playing the angles. He knows the spots that's going to work out for him with this Bucky. But look at the pace. It's slowed here again by Immortals. They're trying to catch rotations. Nitro is going to be spotted in, or rather, Ethan spotted on spawn, leaving Nitro here to make a play potentially. They're still just sitting outside the site. Nitro's wondering what's going on. He is eventually going to get abused by that slow of pace. And now the site is there. But with the operator,
he has the lockdown. You mentioned it, Dan. He's at the wrong site, but he has a lockdown.
There's a rifle there for him to pick up too. Sean.
He's going to go B main and get a really, really solid lockdown. This is the attacker lockdown, but JC Stani is going to challenge this.
Oh, so smart by JC Stani. He knows the only way Steel could win was dropping that lockdown. He knew where he was going to drop it as well. Great kill comes through. That's overtime here from map 1 between Immortals and 100 Thieves. This is a hell of a game. This is just had me on the edge of my seat the entire time.
I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. They slowed it down to perfection that on that B hit. I mean, they waited out. Ethan loaded Nitro a smoke for the stairs. They had to wait that out with no spawn smoke. They could have died to market. They were so patient. Oh my goodness, that was beautiful from Immortals.
I just love when a team is able to cut pace in such a chaotic situation like that, and then it works out. It just takes so much discipline and team play and communication to pull it off well, and they nailed it. That shows you they are ready to take this series. Immortals, they're fighting hard. And back to the A main shenanigans for the first round of overtime here is we see 100 Thieves on the attacker shot up. He's looking for that initial engage, and Astra, he knows better.
Tossing the jiggles underneath the dark cover one way.
Powers out.
And we can steal that.
Dan.
That is a nice way to make life even harder for Immortals. Losing cat control, losing A main control. 100 Thieves are in such a great position here. Immortals in so much of a struggle, and it gets even worse. And they're just crossing the T's, dotting the I's now, moving into the site, using the drone, using the Ice Orb, but there's really not that much to worry about at this position. Only two players remaining.
You mentioned it, you know, crossing the T's, dotting those I's. The slow is heaven. We're in a 2-on-5, and everything is still meticulous. 100 Thieves, they're not rushing.
One enemy remaining.
Oh,
Well,
don't rush that. Okay, well,
that's one way to do it.
That'll end the round.
Finish it with style. It's nice for Astra too. Astra is obviously an amazing player. He's someone that can always be so explosive, and he's not found his spots in this map so far a lot of the time, and that's, I think, great credit to Immortals for how they've managed to deal with him when he is in the picture. So good to see Astra getting a little bit of love from the showstopper right at the end there, and we'll see now if Immortals can answer back.
Yeah, this is what we need to see, right? We need to see Immortals answer back. This is where they had all their success, their attack half. They've been droning out this position from Nitro. Will they do it again? Here it comes. Yes, indeed. Nitro's droned off of that position. That's the waste of a wall that has won them many rounds so far.
Cat aggression coming through from 100 Thieves, looking to see what's going on in mid, but the rotation is actually very fast, so moving forward towards the B site. But look, the timing here from Astra was also very good, able to try and slow this down, got some extra info. However, they were not able to stop Immortals from getting that side control. Ethan is left alone I mean, we asked the question at the beginning, can Immortals answer back? And they pretty much put 100 Thieves in exactly the same position they found themselves in the previous round at the hands of 100 Thieves.
Yeah, this is scary right now for 100 Thieves, and I'm going to tell you why, Dan. Yeah, I can tell what Steel's thinking right now. He peeked off Cat in that last round of regulation and saw the default from a different perspective. And as an in-game leader, he now realizes what's going on. He realizes they're just, dry walking out mid, and shot up's just walking through the smoke mid. That's all they're doing. So why don't we just stop that? And now they're kind of playing into Immortals' game plan a little bit. They're taking these aggressive fights. They pushed into the dark cover mid, off Cat, and I'm worried that 100 Thieves right now is straying from their game plan, which got them, the massive lead to begin with.
Don't overthink it. That's my job.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see if that mind game pans out in the favor of Immortals or 100 Thieves as we move back into a main focused approach here from 100 Thieves. Grabbing that orb, getting it onto Hiko. And Cat control, of course, you give up A main as defenders, you got to have something back. They've got 2 players mid, 2 players Cat leaving just the killjoy on B right now. So definitely in a good spot to play the retake game. They see Steel top mid. He's the lurker. That tells them a lot of info right now. They know the A play's coming in. JC Stanley's going to spot it. And now they just have to play the 5 versus 4 retake. Let everybody get into position.
Yeah, and this is an amazing strat that 100 Thieves has been running for a while now, where they dark cover out of A main, and Nitro actually walls from inside the dark cover for the door. But they're fighting tooth and nail to stop this retake right now.
Yeah, trying to get rid of all that defensive utility around the spike. Paranoia comes through though, and the action's about to hit. There's is able to defend through the smoke just for one, and the frags are so fast. The flurry is insane, but it's down to one, and it's Ethan who is going to prove himself the better as they hold on to the site. That's insane. That was so close.
Oh. 100 Thieves managed to hold the site in a 4-on-5 scenario. I think the Sage in these post plants, I mean, we've kind of brought it up here and there, but Nitro's slow orbs that just stop the two-pronged attack that you typically see on retakes, whether it be at B site from stairs in lane or A site from door in heaven. Nitro's picking one direction and slowing that direction, and it's completely messing up the retakes.
Yeah, I completely agree that the Sage has been just such an incredibly powerful pick, and there's so much to just say about that, but of course we are in the thick of it right now. Back into a mid walk from shot up. And this time, it doesn't seem as though 100 Thieves are too overly concerned with stopping it, sort of allowing Shot Up to just do his usual. And instead, you'll see Steel just poking a little bit from Catwalk, and the rotation coming in towards mid here. So they are definitely, 100 Thieves are definitely worried about this mid split potentially towards B.
Ooh, this is a scary situation for 100 Thieves again, because Immortals is actually winning this default spread every round. 100 Thieves is guessing the wrong site right now. They have 3 people B, 1 mid, 1 A, and the cat split's happening. Everything is on their new player Ethan.
Yeah, you're so right here. They're just behind, but Hiko able to peel away chemicals. That's a massive pick to get right before the site take, and Ethan's there, back site, playing the dark cover, and he's isolating 1v1s. In comes the trade though. JC Stanny's good for it. Right there by the hell position, looking to slow the approach, but Steel's found himself an angle in the chaos, creating more problems. 2 versus 2, Spike getting planted, paint shells are sent out, and it's not going to find too much in the way of damage, but gives Nitro another fight. Nitro against JC Stanny, and he's going to lock it down. Great stuff there from Nitro. And again, I can't believe it. 100 Thieves like that, they're going to lock it in. Sean, what do you even say about this game?
What a performance by Nitro on the Sage. I've heard whispers, doubting his Sage pick. He's typically on that Omen. Wow. I hope they're not doubting him anymore, because he had so much impact with his walls, slows, and let's not even get into the top frag thing. I mean, he had the team on his back right there. They really needed that performance.
It's just an unreal map one. Just the fact that it was an 8-4 start, I felt like Immortals played pretty damn well. I felt like they knew what was going on. Yeah. They knew how to play around what 100 Thieves are doing. Then you saw the adaptation from 100 Thieves who know that Immortals' game plan is that heavy A main control. And there's a lot of teams that don't have enough tactically to kind of deal with that. They kind of just lose that battle. But we saw a lot of the adaptations from 100 Thieves, and then just a great dynamic. And then just to see Immortals, I think they stepped it up individually as well. That was like something that we really started to see. Nature was going nuts. Chemicals as well. There's so many moments in that game that were just phenomenal.
I cannot wait to see Immortals map pick, because that was 100 Thieves map pick, right? I felt like we saw an Immortals that was super prepared, an Immortals that I had yet to see. So what we're going to see on the next map is going to be a treat. And I think 100 Thieves is in for a surprise.
Absolutely. And with that said, we'll take a quick break and then we'll be back with map 2 for this awesome series.
Shot to death last night. Now you're lying in my bed. Must have been a dream last night, but I can hear what you're saying. You were shot to death last night. Where's my cup of coffee? I was dreaming something bad last night. Can't you hear what I'm saying? One gunshot, and I forgot to look at you, to look at you, to look at you, to look at you. 2 gunshots and my thoughts. We're not with you, we're not with you, we're not with you, we're not with you. You were shot to death last night. Then I thought of someone else. Didn't care about your life last night, at least less than about his. All our dreams were shot to death last night. I see the clock stand still. Nightmares touch your heart sometimes, but this is unbelievable. One gunshot, and I forgot to look at you, to look at you, to look at you, to look at you. Two gunshots, and my thoughts. When not with you, when not with you, when not with you, when not with you. So hard to see the light when the weight of the world is mine. But now I will not resign, and I am biting my tongue. No, I ain't gonna run. This is the battle I choose, and I'm gonna win. I ain't gonna lose. Sticks and stones won't break my bones. As long as I am breathing, yeah, I will stand tall. Take me down, shut me out. You ain't never, ever gonna see me bow. I'll do anything.
SEN Prey, I'm sorry, I'm getting the sites confused. They stayed 3 on that site, and they did that multiple times. I love the retakes and also those sage walls. I think it was Gangster that was trapped around a tree when they went around heaven and got on the site. It was filthy. Having 2 duelists isn't a necessary way to play the game, and 100 Thieves are opening up everyone's minds to, you know, think about it differently. I love it.
Vansili, looking at the difference in agent compositions and what Immortals brought to the table compared to what 100 Thieves brought to the table, how does that kind of change up the way these teams approach the defensive side of the map?
You definitely saw 2 different types of playstyle on defense, actually. To just theorycraft a bit, the way that Immortals played it, I liked it, because you had 3 players playing towards the A main, namely Chemicals, Gangsta, and GC Stani. They leave Catwalk open, they leave middle open, and they have Reyna playing on B side with the Killjoy so that they could slow down any type of pushes coming in from the B side. And then if there's a push from 100 Thieves towards mid or towards Catwalk, well, since they have the aim in pressure, they could fight back and pinch back on the rotations. For 100 Thieves, they had some great Frost Orbs from Nitro on that B side that slows down that aggressive playstyle that Immortals has, on these attempts of pushes into the site. But the thing is, in the end, none of it really worked, because for Immortals, they were able to take control of middle, as Veli was mentioned before, and for 100 Thieves, you still had people that were satchel charging into the site, such as Chemicals, to just weaken that defense. So it came down to some heroic plays. Steel stepped it up on 2 rounds, 3 rounds towards the end to bring this into like at least map point for the team. But overall, it comes down to those trades and just the firepower of both of these teams. This was a great start to a series to end the night.
I think another key to that victory as well, we have to give credit to Killjoy's placements on 100 Thieves. The fact that the alarm bot was consistently in garage, yet the turret sometimes in mid, they didn't even have to face check, so they weren't even losing lives like that. And also, it has to be called out, Nitro was filthy. We're talking about like 2 reses available in 5 rounds. He had no reason being like fight 15-9 earlier on in the game. It was insane.
But at the same point in time, you look at Nitro's performance, and sure, he was top of the scoreboard, but you mentioned that Killjoy play. Steel kind of saving the team's bacon a little bit there towards the end with that shotgun play on the A site. He put his team in the pole position eventually by just helping them close out that game, or at least take it into overtime and make that all possible. So even though the stats might not necessarily illustrate a strong performance from players underneath Nitro, everyone stepped up when it was necessary. And actually just looking at the stats, when you saw the side-by-side breakdown of both the team as a whole and then everyone's individual stats, they came so close to matching each other. And in some cases, they did. So that illustrates just how things went. We'll take a look at the maps as well. So we will be moving into a different map here for map 2. kind of hoping we get the same treatment as we did on map 1. Obviously, Ascent was quite a treat, but do we think that Immortals is going to deliver the same way they just did on Ascent here on Haven, with a map that we haven't really seen them play too much, Potter?
Surely, right? Because even when we think back on Ascent, as soon as that pistol round came around and you saw the aggression coming out from Immortals, I thought, okay, this is the great start that they absolutely needed. You can see the confidence building up round by round, and you saw how Reyna was in the middle, just no fear, right? So I think we can expect that. At least they should lean into that hard, because the stylistic clash, they need to be able to do that with the double duelists that Immortals are running. So this is their own map pick, going to home turf. Hopefully we see Immortals coming out swinging just like they did on Ascent.
Yeah, I think we saw some promise definitely with Shot Up playing as Reyna on Ascent, which is
probably
also
going to be breached though, right?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. There's
Maybe.
a possibility that it's breached, but there's also a possibility that they're going to use Reyna, because the last time they played it in the VCT, the only time that they played it, Shot Up played that Reyna too. So if he's able to crack up like the way he did on Ascent, then I think this is going to be a nice surprise for 100 Thieves on Haven as well.
Haven is certainly going to be interesting, but we're just about ready to jump into the action. We've got DDK and Sean Gare standing by to take us into it. It's all yours.
Oh, thank you very much, Buck. Wow. Okay, yeah. That first map was just, I feel like it's one of the best games we've casted, Sean. It's just so intense.
That was a treat. That was definitely a treat. Like, the game, we have a lot to live up to after that map, right? That was map 1. If Immortals loses this map, I'm gonna be really sad, Dan. I want a third map. Like, we need to make this a great series. I don't want a great map. I want a great series.
Totally agree. And it's just this is such a different map too. Like Ascent, you can definitely get away with a very different style, more standard style, tactically and strategically. Do you think that this is going to be a map where we see a different version of Immortals?
I think Haven is, like you said, it's a super unique map. Whoa, Shot Up locked in breach very fast right there.
Nice.
I am surprised. Now, I will say this. I think Reyna's flashes aren't well suited on a map like Haven, which is very, close. It's close range for most of your battles by A and B, garage. So the near sight isn't as effective as Breach's flashes, which is why you see him, switching to him on this map. But man, I don't know. I don't know. It's typically so nice to be able to have duelist on Haven, because there's so many rotations happening with three sites, right? It's so much different than what we're used to in CS, having a third site. Instead of having, a 2-1-2 setup by the defenders, you're like pushing and pulling people around constantly, and you really never know what setup they're running.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. I'm like, the whole breach thing is just, we're going to see breaches on both sides too. I just love this, because it definitely isn't a usual look that we've been seeing from a lot of teams. A lot of teams in North America have been running the breach, and I have to say, there's so many cool setups that we see from 100 Thieves on this map in general, just across the map with Cypher, like Steel and Nitro, for example. I just remember, so many cool little two-man. It plays, there's that famous sort of clutch, that clip around garage. Exactly. That was just so sublime. And also just seeing the way that Steel, we've all seen the highlights around the A side as well. He knows so well how to delay and how to create problems for a team that is quite oriented with, pulling rotation out of A and then hitting A. It doesn't seem like there's any great problems for 100 Thieves when they're dealing with a map like this.
Damn, this is going to be I think this might be a really quick C split coming in with a triple C push coming out of the defenders.
Okay, there's that breach flash. Paranoia to be thrown back. The fault line coming in as well. It is just, I don't know when I last saw this much action around this position at this point in the map. My goodness, 100 Thieves trying to hold on to this, but everybody's switching with the breach flash, flash off the flash, and it's going to be Immortals picking up the kills. Hika's going to swing and just wondering what the hell is going on. It's just a rave at C long, and it's going to be very difficult to bring themselves back in, but still that lurk through A lobby is finding some value and giving a chance here to 100 Thieves.
That was super important that 100 Thieves got that ground back site. Now they forced the 1-on-3 with Hiko. This is a lot for even Hiko to do here, Dan.
I'm done counting Hydra out of any clutch, so but of course he will get taken out.
Wow, the utility battle though on C Long. What just happened? That was insane. The breaches were just having a utility field day, and everyone else was just, you know, trying to figure out what was happening.
I'm just glad that that change was made to the observer, that when you get flashed, we don't get completely wrecked, because oh my god. Oh my god, the 2 breaches on the server as well.
Oh my god, everyone's sending it mid. What's going on, Dan? I'm gonna let you take this one again.
Oh god. Well, Chemical's gonna lead the charge. However, the setup's coming through from both sides. The buckies, the flashes, everything's getting pushed right now. The pain shell's getting thrown out. It's gonna be so very hard to know exactly who's gonna come out on top here. But Immortals are gaining ground here towards that B site. Bucky from Shut Up is proving effective. However, this 2-man setup is looking not too bad. It's just down to Nitro though with the Classic. And given the fact that they are on the eco in this situation, they're doing a pretty good job of damage. And Nitro, he might be able to pick up a weapon. I'm not sure what's on the ground for him. Never mind. The Shock Dart's going to deal with him. And yeah, I'm not sure exactly what's happening at the beginning of this game, but I like it. I am into it.
Is there like some kind of agreement made to meet at one place every round? This is epic. Can we have more of this? What, maybe A now? Doesn't look like we're going to have it by A this round, but the Sova and Raze lining up for probably an early recon nade combo. They're going to dominate this A main. Breach fault lining through, so A main will be won by 100 Thieves this round.
Cover going out.
The initial dark cover C Long, we'll probably see that a lot from Immortals as part of their default, denying that information, allowing them orb control, forcing the defenders to invest if they want to pressure C Long, and it's a garage take coming through. C Long control as well here for 100 for Immortals. They want something explosive-ish on. They're still on these like the Bucky, the Spectre, a couple sheriffs.
Yeah, it feels so much like Ascent. Oh my goodness, that tag is devastating for Steel.
Yep, he's not going to walk away from that one. Ethan's going to get pushed out the site by the Shock Darts. Very nicely done. Immortals taking over the C site. 5 versus 4. There's going to be swapping out for the Vandal there, and we get the pre-shot sent forward. The Rolling Thunder, and still, this is looking very good for Immortals. 4 versus 2 now. 100 Thieves not even able to set up to retake. There's no breathing room here at all. And they may just have to give it up.
Shot Up's utility in this game so far has been incredible. For someone that plays Reyna and only has 2 flashes, what he does when he plays Breach is so different from his normal playstyle. I'm so impressed.
Yeah, and especially given that they were not working with really much in the way of weaponry here. Most of that round was just done by utility. As you pointed out, the drone tag was the difference. That meant that Steel could not hold that position. In fact, he got killed, which meant that the entire team could just rally behind that one kill and get the site under control quickly.
Yeah, typically, you know, your cages, your smokes, the dark covers, all of that is in your favor until you get reconned or droned. And then it's like you're behind a paper-thin wall and you're just dead. You stand no chance. They know where you are, you don't know where they are.
I love the garage pressure here as part of this default. You can see that 100 Thieves is sort of rallying also around garage. 4 players that are expecting an explosion through garage. It's not looking like it's going to be coming anytime soon. The flash, though, is a timing found through garage, which Shot Up and Gangster annihilate the push, leaving very little left here for 100 Thieves. Well, Steel, he's been spotted, so that's not going to look good for him.
I do like the way minimap looks though. 4 X's in one spot. It looks like one giant X right there by the doors. That's impressive.
This is such a different look to a game.
Yes. I couldn't agree more. I like Immortals' approach, actually. They're doing something that I honestly haven't seen many teams at the top try. They're just giving 100 Thieves a main controller round. They don't care. They say, you can have it. Our goals are elsewhere in the map, and when we want to go A, you'll know. We'll know when Immortals is going to go A. It's either going to be really late in a mid game or an explosive hit.
You know, if you're Astra, you do have a job on your hands because Gary's control has been very difficult. Immortal's doing a lot in terms of taking control of that position, trying to make an argument for 100 Thieves to invest players to defend Garage. Droning up, see long, making sure that they can keep everything safe. That jump peak really tells you that that's the solo player. The paranoia coming out to slow things down, that's going to cause a rotation too.
They got the paranoia out of Ethan, and they weren't even planning the hit. 100 Thieves looking a little shaky on this C site right now, but they do have 4 players around it.
Feels like 100 Thieves know exactly what's going on here. Just as you said, Sean, that paranoia getting dropped early, that's a huge tell that Immortals feel really good about this push. The Hunter's Fury coming through as well, taking down Hiko. They have so much control of the positioning right now. It's an easy find for the Hunter's Fury, and Asuna trying to find some control here around the perimeter. But of course, the side is given up. The spike is down. It's ticking away. And Asuna, he's got to worry about this flank. He's going to go so fast though that the flank's not an issue. Nitro with the flashes out there to try to find a way to deal with this. There's the late lurk from Chemicals. He's going to get dealt with. Leaves it all to Gangster. Nice snap from Gangster. Fault line comes through. He can't dodge it. Oh, that's devastating. Nitro takes him down. And it's a great retake from 100 Thieves. Both teams, again, playing it really well there, but it's a slight edge for 100 Thieves, ultimately.
Absolutely essential, too, that 100 Thieves stops the bleeding right here. You know, gets their first round. Things did look sketchy for a second there, but the reads coming in, the lack of A pressure. Steel had the A site, and Nitro was even cheating towards the C site. He wasn't even playing B. They had no trips in B, and he was playing C link side. So that was a big gamble coming out of 100 Thieves that actually played out to their favor. And it looks like we're going to have the same approach coming out of Immortals. They like what they saw.
It's so cool too because again, it does feel like such a different game to the kind of standard bread and butter Havens that we've been seeing ultimately. And the fact that we get the breach out of 100 Thieves as well to combat what's coming their way is really interesting.
Right there.
100 Thieves need to find a way to turn things around. And it's just so strange to see so little action around a lobby. And it makes you wonder if that might change later on. For Immortals, you know, droning through here to check if anyone was pushed up. Obviously, there's not been anyone in these spots for them, so they have to do that. And is there a read there for their opponents?
Nitro is close by, Dan, and he has an ult. There's 2 trips in the site and a cam. This actually could be a very difficult take for them.
Yeah, so much ultimate potential here. There we go. There's the first one. The Rolling Thunder comes through before they can even set up the spike, and that's going to allow Steel to come out from the cage. The trade, though, from Shut Up is good. Oh, no. Nitro, he looked very strong in that engagement, but the flash wasn't enough, and Immortals hold on. The spikes have come through, but it's not over just yet here for 100 Thieves. There's the Hunter's Fury now being popped. Every ultimate pretty much is being spent here. It's just one more. Asuna's rocket. Well, there it is. There's the showstopper. Straight onto the default. The paint shell's coming through as well, trying to barrage the site with all of this explosive utility. And there go all the satchels that drop down low as well as they have isolated one player in the hell position. There's both of them there. They have the info. Can they play back-to-back? Chemicals and Gangster trying to survive. Now just down to Gangster. He's not good, though, for the last one. It's Ethan to take it through. And, 12 HP left on Ethan as well. Every ultimate expended pretty much on the side of 100 Thieves, but not on the side of Immortals.
That was an absolute fire sale right there on ults. It was just, you get an ult. Get it all. Everyone's just popping ults. No frags coming from them though. It was so weird to see. After a round like that, where Ethan wins a one-on-one, you mentioned it. All of the ults now lie in Immortals' favor, and the economy is in their favor. They could hard reset 100 Thieves right now.
It feels so perfect too, doesn't it? Because it feels like A has been so clear for the taking that they know that, as you say, like the ultimate advantage is going to make it so hard for 100 Thieves to win a retake. So I wonder if they set themselves up for a round where they can walk onto a site like that again.
Same early round setup. So yeah, this is definitely something that Immortals thinks is going to work game plan wise. This is a huge game plan type setup early round. Spotting steal close short gives tons of info.
Asna holding on to Garage, but now that's a very, very important kill to find. He even upgrades to the Phantom, but the lurk from JC Stanny, he wins this 1v1. That's huge. Oh no, that is a huge issue now for 100 Thieves. Asna though, able to take him down. The trade is through from Shot Up. Very responsible play there from Immortals to capitalize. 2 versus 3 though, they're not in a great spot. With that said, there goes Steel, but Shot Up as well, able to get taken down by Nitro, leaving just Gangster. And with all of that, there's a lot of space on the map now for Gangster.
There's tons of space, Dan, and if he gets the spike down, he gets his ult. Ooh.
Whoa! We got tagged!
30 seconds left.
Oh, there's an angle there. Just a slither of one, but it won't be found by Gangster in time. And now he's going to win the fight straight up. And it was a player either side. He has a sense of it. He can just bait a peek there. If he can win a fight, that could be everything. But he's going to have to commit to the plant. He has no other option. Able to get off of it. Trying to find the 1v1s, but they're just not being given. The discipline here from 100 Thieves, the experience in how they're managing, how they're controlling Gangster's fight is just excellent work, but still have to come to completion. Fault line comes out. Gangster's running out of opportunities. The Understreet is not going to come into play. The swing, the final maneuver from the last 2 players of 100 Thieves will be good.
That is how you play a 2-on-1, Dan.
Yes.
That was incredible. Incredible from Hiko and Nitro. Jiggle peeking constantly. You know, getting the info so that way the opposite could always advance. It truly felt like Gangsta stood no chance that round based on what he saw on his screen. The jiggle peaks 24/7. He would have had to spam someone, you know, like get lucky with a headshot. And if he got a kill at any point in that scenario, he backs off and plays the one-on-one with ult, and the round's his. So that was a huge round by those two.
So much experience there coming into play for sure. And back into the action, and it's a C-long pressure. Ethan's going to creep through this time. He hasn't done this, I don't think. And he's going to take down Nature. The trade's through, but all the info's there. All the info. And Asna, he's here with the paint shells. The Boombot's going to get sent out. He's going to get tagged up by the Hunter's Fury. Can he escape it? Just barely with the satchels. He's still alive. Has to turn away from the flash. There's absolute madness coming through. Still has the paint shells, holding on to the position for as long as he can. But his chemicals finally to take him down. But Nitro answering the call here. The breach flashes. I hope you like getting white, because there it comes again. Will get dealt with. But Steel, it's not too much he's able to do in that position. What a crazy ball run there from Immortals.
They couldn't even get the spike down before everyone was dead. And we talked about it pre-game. I mean, this feels like ages ago now. But JC Stani, the second he passed off in-game leading to Nature and played this lurking Omen, he has had so much success when I watch him. Such a talented young player. His aim is so crisp. Closes out the round for them. And again, the same early round setup, but the difference here, some A-lobby pressure.
We were expecting that eventually we might see it, and finally we're here, round 9. And interestingly though, I am curious how the response will be for 100 Thieves. They have 4 ultimates that are 1 pip away to 100 Thieves. That's pretty interesting. We'll have to see how that helps them. We're looking for some info here towards Garage, trying to see if there are resets coming through and a rotation is coming through from Immortals, but Immortals are just slowing the pace because they're looking for the push, and they punish. Asuna goes down. That's what the kill they were looking for.
Ooh, that's a big find, and the drones coming through short A, but look, 100 Thieves is again all over this, and like you said, they're so close to these ults. 1 kill from Nitro, breach ult is coming.
Steel in the smoke with a Bucky. It's a scary prospect. They're going to run back. This is classic Haven stuff right now. You get such a timing advantage on these quick rotations as the attackers. if you can convince the entire defensive unit to go to that A site. So much room. They've managed to effectively get split positions on the C site. Nitro doesn't know exactly where they are, gets sprayed through the wall. Oh, the breach flashes now to make matters worse. And look at how Immortals are pushing back 100 feet with their util. There's nothing that can be done.
Shadow flexing the aim. They're pushing spawn as breach. This is really good to see if you're an Immortals fan. They're playing with so much confidence right now, but also, you know, they're not making mistakes like the old Immortals would do. The old Immortals would have fallen into the A site trap right there. They would have gone into the stack. This version where nature's IGLing, they have the presence of mind to slow things down, realize that the rotate probably came in. Like you said, they did the Haven Classic. They just all booked it to see.
I am extremely impressed by Immortals. I completely agree with you. Seems like so much improvement. Oh, here we go! Astra with the breach flash! The setup is insane! And he wants more. He's got the showstopper in hand, and he's looking for his next victim. Unfortunately for him, it's only 2. But 2 that they can take to the bank here. 5 versus 3 to start things off. They can now play it pretty passive. Don't have to really do too much else at this point. It's up to Immortals to find a way out of this tricky situation.
Deploying drone.
Yeah, this is the first time that 100 Thieves has had this C control. We've never seen Immortals on the back foot on their default.
True. Round 10, of course. So that's quite impressive for Immortals to have a run like that.
Tons of info there from Hiko, spotting one of the remaining 3. Meanwhile, Steel has all of the info at A. So that allows 100 Thieves to, stack 4 people towards the left side of the map. And that's the making side.
Great jump peek. The Rolling Thunder just to seal the deal. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to hide. And
oh, no, man.
It's like, oh, yeah, that's a slaughter right there from 100 Thieves. Nice finish on the round. And the Rolling Thunder, maybe not necessary. You could always argue, but at this level, you want to secure the rounds. You give the respect to your opponents. And I just love the potential for these breach flash plays. Look at that. It's so beautiful.
The trust to let Nitro kill the second one. He just popped his ult immediately after that first kill.
Man, they got just incinerated there. Okay, so 100 Thieves, they're finding their feet back into this one, Sean. 4 to 6 now. Full rifle buy, though, for both teams.
Dude, both teams on a full buy here. I think what we have to look out for is ShotUp's ult combined with Nature's ult. I mean, that creates a scenario that's really difficult for the defenders.
There is control play.
Garage.
It's close. Almost doing some damage there off the boombot. You can see also at the same time Gangster's looking after the A lobby position, really making sure that 100 Thieves do not push that. Oh, that is not good. Asuna, I mean, you're playing with fire in those positions. It's very difficult. You don't want to give it up, so sometimes it be like that for Asuna. And Steel has a lot of info here, A lobby.
He does. The alarm bot is holding the A push, so he won't be able to get past that. The alarm bot was actually recalled. I take that back. He could flank. Shot up on the lurk. Oh, dear.
That's a big Rolling Thunder. Even 1 bullet to go, and he's going to nail shot up in the face. Feels bad, man, for all the breach mains out there. And Ethan gets to hold on to garage control. That's an insanely huge pickup.
Yes.
And the offer that as well. And oh my god, the aftershock from Nitro to deny the spike one, or rather at least kill the planter. Spike does go down. And 100 Thieves back in this right now.
That was so sick, Dan. That was so sick. The fact that Ethan living in garage with the paranoia, and then 100 Thieves clearly has something planned, and I've thought about this before. When Sova's ult, what's the best thing that could happen? They get hit by like a near sight or get blind. They have no idea what's going on, and they're just getting Sova ulted. And that's what happened. Ethan threw a paranoia through the wall simultaneously. You know, Hiko's ulting, Steel's on the flank. There's just so much chaos. And you just, even with a Killjoy ult down, you cannot defend that. Very well done by 100 Thieves.
And it's taking these really excellent plays to bring themselves back against just the beauty of what it has been a great attacking side so far for Immortals too. So just like the first map, we're already getting a game right now, and Ethan looking to potentially push this dark cover once more, and he's going to get a lot of info. This is very good to do every so often. There's the 1v1, and JC Stanley's going to stand to benefit. And that puts a sense of urgency on the defenders here. 100 Thieves down to 4.
But something to keep in mind is that Omen fight at C long in the pro meta, you'll very frequently see Omens holding the C push. And that's why 100 Thieves didn't even react. They didn't even do anything about that. So JC Sonny's like, yeah, I gotta actually push the initiative here, clear the C site. That's why he blind ult C site and forces the rotate into C. This is brilliant.
Oh, what a catch though. Steel pops the cage as well, and they're gonna have to deal with Steel. They have to do something to kill Steel. They have to trade him. If he gets back onto position, he's gonna be able to stop this round entirely. Steel making plays for days, but eventually he will go down, and Immortals will find themselves on the site with the entries they were looking for. But Asuna, he may look to get an opportunity to go in here with the Santos possibly, or just straight up with the Vandal. Now she's down to Hiko, 1 versus 2, and that's not a winnable situation. Immortals pick up the round, and that the bait, I have to say, the bait with JC Stanley's TP onto C was just actually so insane how much problems that caused.
Yeah, you could see when he got the frag on Ethan, 100 Thieves didn't even respect that frag at all. It was like nothing happened. You know, like, no, we don't need to watch C. That's not even a sight. But when JC Sonny ults and the person A is like, well, he's not A, and the person B is like, he's not B, you're like, oh no, he ulted into the empty site. So they all just rotate. But that's the wrong play. Oh man, that was such a cool round to watch.
Yeah, it really is. It's so funny as well that one bullet from Ethan too, just that always gets me when players breach ulted. But enough about that. We're getting once again more of this A lobby play, but of course we're in the second half now, and it's 100 Thieves on the attack, so we may see a very different look to the defaults. And they're actually taking the spike towards C.
I don't think Immortals is biting on this, Dan.
It looks
now
like they are now.
Now they are.
Yeah.
Wow, look at the rotate coming in now. Oh my goodness. Well, that's a plant. That's a 5v5 retake.
Spike going down.
Spike planted.
Man, and Steel is going to be on the most incredible lurk right now through A.
Oof, nice first pick there from Ethan on the defense. And with Asuna able to hold things down for now, and lots of danger lurking around the corner. Nice shot from Nitro. Now it's getting very difficult for Immortals. They are just getting picked apart here, losing their battles. Just comes down to the headshots sometimes in these pistols, and Nature, he's been pretty immaculate. But you can see that once again, 100 Thieves have the ability to play the clock here, and this shouldn't be a winnable situation for Nature. And these play it correctly by the book, and they will pick up the pistol round.
Amazing play. 100 Thieves using the fact that they know Immortals are quick rotators. I was so impressed. Immortals didn't bite. But when Steel made it all the way to hell, you have to respect it at that point. You have to respect there's someone literally in the A site. We cannot just ignore A anymore. We have to rotate. So he gets all the way there. But the layers to have Nitro lurking through Garage while Steel's lurking, long control. So many things went well right there for 100 Thieves.
Well, fast eco round now for Immortals, looking to push mid. It's a very classic maneuver. It might actually be working out. The breach flashes are so valuable in plays like this. And this is getting a little bit crazy. Steel goes down, and now Nitro's getting caught. He's very, very low, 28 points of health. And they are not stopping. They want to finish them all off. No. Oh dear, that's good. That would have been a really great prank shot. Unfortunately for Asuna, it's not going to connect as he wanted. And they're still fighting over this one doorway. Just this one doorway. It's so much action here. It's unreal. No one's wanting to give this up. I mean, 100 Thieves could just run to the side if they wanted, but they're looking to fight this.
I swear, if I was a good enough liar, I could lie and tell the new viewers that that door leads to something very important. And they would probably believe it right now. But I promise you, it actually doesn't.
Gangsta looking to get some love with the Ares, but 7-7 is the score as 100 Thieves deal with a ridiculous attack down middle. And we're all tied up. I feel like you wouldn't want it any other way.
This is exactly how we wanted it. We wanted it this way. Oh my goodness. This game is going to go down to the wire. This is so exciting.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic display so far. I just love that Immortals are able to show us a lot of different looks. I didn't expect that to such an extent.
So Immortals actually not playing Garage this round. They don't expect a Garage hit. And if I had to guess based on how 100 Thieves plays rounds, they're setting up C early to hit A late. They do these kind of things. They get full map control, and then they go back to the opposite site. So they let the people push up close A, and now they're going to clear out close A. And if Chemicals gets caught, they might just snowball the A site.
It's a nice bait sub. They may expect Chemicals to be more of like a garage player or something like that. They may just see the Sovas in that position. Okay, and it looks like they are just leaving Chemicals alone at this point. Base setup's not going to come through. Turns away from the flash. Oh, dear.
Now Ethan's activated, Dan. He's at C long. He knows a turret's there. But at any moment, he could lurk up into the C site. Oh, man. 100 Thieves just nailing the default to a T this round. Getting full map control. Seesawing Immortals around. Immortals has no idea where to stack.
This is very difficult. At least Nature can try to delay with his utility here towards the C site, but he's falling out of the site, doesn't want to get split on, which is why he's falling back towards spawn. He's not the first player. That's a great pick from Nature. I really feel like you couldn't expect anything more from him there. Now he's going to be trying to set up with his teammates, popping some of those swarm grenades, planted in the nick of time. Now there's no ults available for either side at the moment. It's going to be a pure retake without the assistance of those, and Nature, another kill for him. He's doing such a good job so far. Hiko holding on to Garage control will cause issue here for Immortals, however, as he could come from Garage or he could lurk around spawn. There's that spike defuse pressure. Can Hiko find his way around quickly enough? Hiko, he did actually pick up the Hunter's Fury. Can they take him down in time? They can.
Oof. I think we all felt that possibility. When Hiko had the ult and he nested in that garage corner, I think if his teammate gets one frag, that round goes in 100 Thieves' favor. But 3 people, too much to ask out of Hiko. They immediately push on him when they hear the Hunter's Fury popped. Heads up play from Immortals, and they stabilize.
And you know, I think it's safe to say everybody's rooting for a third map here, so that would require Immortals to win Haven. If you are just joining us, we had an incredible match on the first map of this series on Ascent. It was, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it. You should go back and watch it. It was truly an incredible game, and unfortunately for Immortals, though, they came off the worst there.
Placing swarm grenade.
So they do need to win this one to force it to a third.
Again, with the early C-long control coming out of 100 Thieves. If this round plays out anything like the last, they'll probably go back to A and get A lobby control. You can see they have very specific goals every round. The first, stop the C push. Okay, we force someone to play in the C site now. Now let's go A. Let's make sure someone has to hold both short and long, not just one choke point. So we're going to push back A lobby here. And after that, your guess good as mine.
Well, given that Immortals have access to a lockdown, they are pretty content to play retake, it would appear, on the A side as well, leaving it to the Killjoy utility. And I'm liking the cam in mid as well for that mid-round mid-info. See if that comes into play at all, but for now, it's just as you said, Sean. They'll see the Killjoy utility. They know it's going to be a lockdown play from Immortals.
Yeah. And the real question here is, will they be aware of that Molly that's just chilling at long right now? Because it is just hanging out there where the lockdown's going to have a gap.
Don't think Hiko has enough to take down that lockdown. Oh, gonna try with the paint shells there. And that's gonna do the job. Well done there by Asuna. That's a huge win for 100 Thieves. They might be able to take this one now as they look to hold on against the retake. A lurk is in play. There's 2 players on the lurk actually for 100 Thieves. A lot of pressure on their players who are actually defending the site to hold on to these positions for long enough. And here it comes, activating that lurk. Will they expect it as one more player? It's going to be Steel coming through on the back. It's just Gangster left. And Steel's going to take him down. What a well-played round from 100 Thieves.
Yeah, the lurks coming in from 100 Thieves, but I mean, Asuna, time and time again, when I see him on this raise, he's taking out the lockdowns from the Killjoy with his utility. So that saves Hiko his ult. I mean, typically when you watch these other pro games, the Hunter's Fury is saved to take out the lockdown and they kind of negate each other. But when you have a raise like Asuna that knows all these satchel lineups and paint shell lineups, I mean, that adds so much value to your team.
Yeah, it really does. There's so much to talk about in terms of utility, but never mind. We've got the fast push once again. 100 Thieves annihilating the aggression. And, well, with that said, there's not too much left here for 100 Thieves. Now, they obviously are on the eco, so no firepower available, really. And with that said, there might be something available. They can play for the gun, and you can see 100 Thieves realize that's the play. They're going to deny that play. There we go. Open and close case. Done and dusted. 9-8. Now the lead for Immortal Thieves. 100 Thieves. And it's going to be back into the buy rounds.
Holy Dan. They have plenty of ults here. Both Rolling Thunders in play for this round, and this is definitely looking to be an A hit. This is very different from what we saw at Immortals first half. There's the cage that's going to go in the middle of long A to deny info from both the Sova and the Raze.
Nice find. Asuna opens it up. There is the TP. Heaven, that's a lot of pressure, especially if you force players to play inside. You can sometimes get that TP off, but is at least just going to get the info, clear the space. Asuna doing just that as well with the showstopper. Sending that flying. And that's the A side under control. So you're going to have to hold on to this one against the ults. But Nitro obviously has that Rolling Thunder available. That's fine by Gangster. It's going to lighten the load ever so slightly.
I think they're going to trade Rolling Thunders right now. This is going to be epic, Dan.
Here we go. There's number one. Trying desperately to get into the recon there. Eco able to take down Gangster. JC standing. Not too much left here now for Immortals, so they try to fight for side control. And, well, looks like 100 Thieves are starting to take some edges here.
You know, I was really hoping we would see a world where it was like a 3-on-3 and everyone's breach ulted and moving really slow and shooting slow the round. That would have been awesome. But here we go. 100 Thieves cleaning up the round, taking a 10-8 lead. They're kind of running away with things right now. I mean, Shot Off only has a Bucky. They're almost conceding an 11.
Yeah, and they've been somewhat predictable too in these eco rounds. I mean, it's hard not to be on Haven if you want to take the initiative. And that's what they're doing. They're playing the game, and Shot Off finds one with the Bucky. Oh no, the Boombot comes back for the vengeance. And 100 Thieves begin to clear things up. There is still 2 players left, and Gangster's found himself a Spectre, so the possibility for more damage.
Trapped in. Oof. Oh, they know he's stuck.
Oh, Nature with the swing.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh dear. You hate to see it. Nowhere to go, and just like that, 100 Thieves on 11. The end of the series could be near unless Immortals find themselves some more life. What do they need to do here, Sean?
Oh, it's so interesting because 100 Thieves, they're just getting control of whatever they want this half. If they want C-Long control, they get it. If they want A lobby control, they get it. So I don't know what the answer is for Immortals other than just not allowing initial picks to happen. I mean, it's okay to give up these areas. Oh, but it's not okay the way they keep falling.
Oh, paranoia burn. They are sending it, and Astra get control of the side here. The double nanoswarm will slow things down just for a moment, but still with this lurk is always dangerous. And it's a safe rotation all the way through spawn, but of course, you do give up a lot of control by doing that. They've got to know that Steel's lurking around somewhere, and they're playing offsite. Eco has Hunter's Fury, so that's one of the reasons why they can do that. Also a nice open plant.
Oh. Ethan caught JC Stunny from the cubby of long. That's a massive find. They take out the smokes on the team on a C plant.
Aftershock doing his damage though. Chemicals trying to clear out the cubby as well. There's the Hunter's Fury now starting to deny the defuse attempt. 100 Thieves getting the frags to follow it up. Leaves it to shot up in nature here. Oh, it's going to be very hard still there. That late lurk. The timing is impeccable. And there's nothing that nature can do. 12 rounds now for 100 Thieves as they look to find themselves on match point.
Match point.
Oh, so many layers to how 100 Thieves plays. You can tell specific players take specific fights at specific times. That's one difference when I watch these two teams right now. I can tell when Hiko's going to get activated. I can tell when Nitro's going to get activated. Ethan's activated on the lurks when there's presence on the opposite side of the map. And Asuna, well, he's just a maniac and he's just entering everywhere. But this is just such a well-polished team that Steel has created.
Yeah, I completely agree. And this is such a classic way to punish the C-long push. Omen TP's up on top of the boxes. It's such a strong angle. Oh my god. JC Stanny, it may look like a crazy peek, but JC Stanny spaced it with a delay, and you wouldn't necessarily expect two players to try to move through the C-long position. So he's trying to capitalize there, and it just didn't work out. And with that said, Sean, it's starting to feel like we're about to hear the death knell here for Immortals. Oh, the bait.
It's a bit important, but Steel is taking the A site while all this is happening. His lurk, again, is fruitful for the team, and he's going to keep going with it. I think he might go through this.
Ooh, the lockdown. Oh, the takedown Steel. He wanted to make the play against the lockdown, which wasn't necessarily...
The paint shells again!
Yeah, he just knows the lineups.
Just keeps doing this.
Will they be able to capitalize though? There's the trade from nature. They're trying to force their way in the side 2 versus 2 here to keep the chances alive for Immortals. As Nitro plays around the back boxes. Everybody's weak at this point. The swing from Nitro. I don't think he even stopped there as he starts spraying him down. And it's a 2-0 in favor of 100 Thieves in what was an insane matchup between these. I did not expect the Immortals to play so well, but just seeing the innovations from 100 Thieves as well to combat it was just we just saw some beautiful Valorant. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah, I love what we saw today because we really saw the peak of both of these styles, right? The aim-heavy style versus the super tactical, layered, synergizing abilities. Certain people peak at certain times, and today 100 Thieves won, but I can easily see a world where Immortals steals this best of 3. These teams are so close despite playing so differently, and that's what makes the scene so incredibly exciting to me right now. Is just the difference of styles I see.
Oh, definitely. It's so cool that from map to map, especially as teams get better at working different compositions, just how different the game can look. And I mean, this is so early in the days of Valorant that I can't imagine once some of these players and teams, if they stick together for a long time, the kinds of things, the looks that they may be capable of is really going to be so exciting and surprising in the future. But like, what do you feel like this means for Immortals going forward in the tournament, Sean? Like, now that you've seen their form here today, do you think that they can make a run?
I think so. I think this is the toughest opponent in the entire tournament for a team like Immortals, right? Who plays this looser style. But when you go against a team like this, where Steel is in-game leading, he's going to put in a massive amount of work. There's going to be anti-shrouding. There's going to be awareness from all 5 players on the enemy team as to how you like to open up rounds. And that makes things very difficult for a team like Immortals. So I don't think another team is capable of having the coordination to shut down the star aimers of Immortals. And I think moving forward in the lower bracket, they'll have an easier time. It's just kind of an unlucky matchup for them.
Yeah, it is definitely that. I think a lot of teams going up against 100 Thieves, it's just a lot about them that's, I think, quite difficult to deal with. They've just got so many tools to work with. But with that said, it's time to go to the analysts. We will see you guys on the next one. And it's down to the analysts to break it down.
what can you really break down about that? I mean, it was just a brawl. Looking at the first few rounds, my notes said DM on first few rounds. It was literally deathmatch. It started with the pistol round, and it just picked up from there. It was absolute chaos. But, you know, Sean made a good point there. Towards the end, he said, today 100 Thieves win. But, like, there's a possible reality where Immortals is able to win that series. It comes down to these incredible clutch plays. And looking specifically, Christine, at a player like Steel, his lurks were so successful for the team, constantly putting him in a good position, and also his flank plays.
His flank plays were a beautiful sight to see, and you know he's got those timings in his brains, and more than that, he's got the trust in his teammates, right? And all of his teammates trust him as well. Collectively speaking, this 100 Thieves team, they looked so polished, right? But we gotta say, everyone keeps mentioning it. I mean, even Ascent, it came down to so many 2v2s. So no matter how polished we keep talking about 100 Thieves being, Immortals had an answer almost through and through every single step of the way. So impressive stuff coming up from both teams. And another shout out, I have to highlight Asuna, man. The value he brought, Sean mentioned it in the match. He got that lockdown from Killjoy every single time. Anytime they hit up that A site on this Haven, it just made it null and void. And to have that in your game plan, the forethought in that, and Asuna always being in the right place at the right time, it's a beautiful thing to see coming out from 100 Thieves.
I felt that there was mind games going on in Haven as well, because Sean was mentioning it. They're leaving, Immortals is leaving the A choke point open every single time so they could focus on C. What did we see instead? We saw Asuna moving down with help from Nitro to fight back down towards long C. And then Immortals were like, okay, well, maybe this could work out. We could actually fight it out. Usually with all these trades, we could bang it out. But what does that leave? The gap for the lurk for Steel. Because he's at the A side, he can push all the way up towards the choke point. He gets so much information for 100 Thieves that they're able to stack the right amount of players towards the C side, which means if Asuna dies first and they still try to make it in, they still had to fight 2 or 3 more players. In the end, though, again, it all comes down to clutches from a lot of these players. And in this series, you play 10 times, it could still be very even between Immortals and 100 Thieves.
You know, Bach, and when Vansili talks about clutches, we're not talking about the fancy stuff that you used to see him from Hiko, you know, the 1v2s and whatnot from First Strike. It was just the big plays. We saw the replays, Ethan and Steel getting the flanks around C-Long, but you know what? That was their game plan. They were so aggressive when it came to the lurks, like from everywhere. I remember there was one round where I saw Steel right outside of A lobby, and you saw someone else right outside of B main, and they're ready to make that push and gather that information. Now, whether they get it or not, still, they're moving around the map, getting constant map control. Immortals, they had to choose if they want to push a side or not, and if they didn't, they were going to have a really good veteran